Heidi ho, chickadees. Happy Saturday. It feels a little weird to be doing a live stream on a Saturday. I'm so happy you are all with me today. I want to go through a few things before I say hello to everybody. First off, I need to apologize ahead of time. Mr. Demeanor is in the process right now of putting in a new multifunctional kitchen sink in our home, which I have to tell you, I have been dying to have for years. I feel very, very bougie now that I'm going to have this fancy schmancy kitchen sink. Not that I do cooking there, but I bake there. So I still want to have a fancy schmancy sink. And so you may, from time to time, hear some maybe cursing or, outbursts, shall I say. Mr. Demeanor does not like to do plumbing. And although he has a friend that's coming over to help him, he's also not very patient. So he's started before the friend came over. So you get the picture. I don't think we'll hear anything in my studio here, but you never, ever know. So I wanted to make sure I warned everyone about that up front in case we hear some outbursts in the background. Secondly, I have to show you all in honor of the Michigan trial. You got it. I'm wearing my maize and blue today. So this is a big deal because I am not a big t-shirt wearer. I have just a couple favorites that I wear on a consistent basis. So I don't have a lot, but I definitely have a Michigan t-shirt and I have a Michigan like nylon jacket-y kind of thing. So we're in Michigan. I'm going to go blue it today. And if you're new to my channel, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe to the channel. You can also become a member, and then you'll have access to other emojis that are not available to everyone. And also, when we get enough members, we'll start doing some members-only live streams on some specific cases that may be close to my heart or ones that moved me over the years. These some of them on my list that I have are closed cases. Some of them are still open, cold cases that are unsolved. So we will be doing that as soon as I get enough members that would be interested in listening to those particular live streams. If you were on the replay crew, thank you so much. I see several of you actually leave me a comment that you're on replay crew. I so appreciate that. I do always try to respond to everyone that does give me a comment on any of my videos, even if they or my live streams, even if they're not nice comments or they're critical, I still talk to you. Before we get into all of the testimony for today, I have several updates on cases that are on my radar or cases that are on the docket coming up. And I want to go over those with everyone. The first one that I have some updated information on is Martha Nolan. Martha Nolan was the young lady whose body was found on the dock at a yacht club in the Hamptons. And no one had any idea how she ended up there. She was a fashion designer that she created sustainable like beachwear and things like that, swimsuits. That has, as far as I could research and find, that has been declared a homicide. And so there is now a full-blown investigation into her death. So that's the first update that I have. Second update. Angie Solomon. This would be the mother of Grant Solomon. Grant Solomon was an 18-year-old young man that lost his life in Tennessee in a very unfortunate and tragic accident in which his truck, he pulled into a sporting practice place for baseball. The word escapes me right now. Saturday. It's hard. Anyway, his truck rolled over on top of him. His father is Grant Solomon, who was a former TV anchor on WSMV in Nashville. Angie is the mother of Grant. And if you don't know anything about this case, I did do a deep dive on this. So go back on my channel and you can get up to speed on Grant Solomon's case. I have a lot of questions still about Grant's case, but Angie has been charged with solicitation to commit murder. She hired a hitman that was an undercover police detective to kill her ex-husband, Aaron. And now she has new charges. The new charges are that she has stolen, it's either through fraud or theft, money from a charity. So that's the latest on Angie Solomon. Mickey Steins. Mickey Steins is out of Kentucky. This is the sheriff that went into the judge's chambers and shot him in judge's chambers. There was a lot of question as to whether Mickey Stein's daughter had been a victim of the judges. That has since been clarified and is not the case. So if there's anyone out there spreading that kind of rumor or information, it is indeed false. Mickey Steins right now is asking to have the Supreme Court in the Kentucky Supreme Court review his case to determine whether he is eligible for the death penalty, because they are claiming severe and significant psychological issues leading up to the homicide. And if that is indeed deemed the case, Mickey would no longer be eligible for the death penalty. And so that's what's on the table now. There has not been a determination made on that case. Alexe Traveso. Alexe is the 17-year-old, I think it was, who went into the hospital with severe back pain. Her mother took her there, and I believe her boyfriend ended up showing up at the hospital at some point. While there, she went to the restroom. While in the restroom, she gave birth to a baby boy that she then took and dropped in the trash can in the restroom at the hospital. Went back to the hospital room and began to be questioned about what some of the housekeeping people had found in the restroom. When she was questioned, she admitted that she had given birth and that it was her baby. And so that case, the New Mexico Supreme Court deemed that all of her interactions while in the hospital room, in the hospital, were deemed inadmissible because it was under patient-doctor conversation. And so it's kind of just up in the air, that case is. There's nothing really happening at this point because they've kind of just not allowed anything in that would prove what she did. So that one's, I'm still checking on it on a probably monthly basis to see if there is anything new. Speaking of individuals that have babies and keep it hidden, their pregnancies hidden, Laken Snelling. We are still waiting for the grand jury to come down with what their determination is, if they are going to have a true bill in Laken Snelling's case, or if there will not be an indictment at all. So we're still pending, and I'd have to check my notes. I think they have until the end of this month or maybe the middle of next month for that determination. While we're talking about that time frame, y'all know we're still waiting on Zack Adams. Zack Adams, Judge Bradbury has until the end of March to make his decision on whether Zack will get a new trial, whether his conviction will be vacated. All of that we're waiting to hear about. The end of March is the deadline on that. John Gruden. And if you don't know who John Gruden is, John Gruden used to be a sports commentator for the NFL. He left his commentating position to become the head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. While employed at the Las Vegas Raiders, there was a big email scandal that came out in which it showed him making disparaging remarks in a racist nature. He was fired for that. Since that time, Mr. Gruden has filed a lawsuit against the NFL, stating it was basically a hit job. There were several people that were working in coordination with each other, and it was a coordinated effort for him to be fired. That case, they ruled that the Supreme Court ruled that he could indeed ask for the ownership of the Las Vegas Raiders, the NFL commissioner himself, Roger Goodell, and several other key players in the case to be requested to be subpoenaed and have to testify in this case. The NFL had the opportunity to appeal that decision. They've opted not to appeal. So what that means, that's great news for John Gruden and the rest of us, because we're going to get a little peek into the NFL and how it operates and what actually went down with his firing. At the time it happened, I had a lot of questions. So that's exactly why I am going to cover this case, because it's important to me to know what actually went down and what's happening. So I will, and y'all can tap out if you're not interested in that. I am interested in it simply from, y'all know, I want to keep people honest, and I want to make sure the NFL is kept honest, just like every other large corporation or any other judicial system. So that's why I'll be keeping my eye on that case as well. Next update. I don't know if you all heard, Ashley Benfield got transferred. Did y'all hear why? Oh, maybe you don't know who Ashley Benfield is. Ashley Benfield was the Black Swan ballerina that was convicted for shooting her soon-to-be ex-husband in her home. That was in Florida, if I remember correctly. And she was convicted. She's been incarcerated since. She attacked one of the corrections officers. Yep. And so she's being transferred. So this little delicate petite flower, which I apologize to anyone in my chat or anyone watching that may have been an Ashley Benfield supporter in believing her innocence. I never did. I felt that she was using her feminine wiles to get what she wanted out of the trial. So I never bought it. I absolutely believe that she set up Doug Benfield to come there and for that to happen, and she got caught. So she is being transferred because she can't play nice with authority. Who knew that would happen, huh? Oh, factual lie. Don't worry at all about caps. I don't get upset about that at all. Next case on my updates here, Chiron Moore, former University of Michigan head coach of the football team. He had a hearing this week, and Judge Simpson was nonplussed with what he heard in the hearing. I did put a link on the Twix of that particular hearing if you're interested in seeing the entirety of it. What ended up coming out of that particular hearing is that they will now have an evidentiary hearing in his case. If you don't know what happened with Chiron Moore, he was found out to have had a relationship with a subordinate on the University of Michigan football team, or in the staff, and was fired. On the day he was fired, he went a little wackadoodles and went to the employee's apartment and proceeded to threaten her, I believe, with a butter knife. It's all a lot. So that's what went down. So he's being charged with some stalking charges, and I can't remember all the specifics of it, but I will definitely be following that case because it is my University of Michigan. And the evidentiary hearing is March 2nd. So that is just around the corner. So I'll definitely follow that. Of course, we're still going to be doing all of the Dale Warner things in the meantime. And Monday, Corey Richins starts. So I will not be replaying Corey Richins, obviously, because we're doing Dale Warner. However, I am trying to decide who in the LawTube network I am going to follow the case, what channel I'm going to follow the case with for Corey Richins. I asked Kat. Kat is not going to be covering Corey Richins, and it's because it's going to be such a long trial. So there's a real strong possibility I will end up on probably EDB's live stream following there. I'm not a big commenter. I have never been a big commenter in her chat. I may comment from time to time, but that's likely who I will be watching that case with, because I enjoy her commentary and coverage, and I don't know a lot of other channels that are covering it that I would be interested in. I know that DUI guy, Larry Foreman, he's also going to be covering it, but the timing of how he's going to be covering it isn't going to work in my schedule. So I can't follow him. Otherwise, I would love to. So we're all caught up on all of my updates. I just thought, since I had the time, we should probably get into all of that. So if you were not interested in that, my apologies, but hey, here we are. We're lucky. I thank you all for hanging out with me, because doing it this way with the zippity doo dah that we get to do, the 8-hour day, it's 3 hours. We have 3 hours of testimony that we're going to be covering this morning. So let's get into it, shall we? Why are we waiting, Janet? Let's do it. Oh, I have all kinds of craziness happening here. There we go. Get rid of that. And because we're doing this the next day, we have closed captions. So I've turned them on for everybody to be able to see. I'm going to move them so that they're not going to be in the way of what we might be viewing on the screen. And I'll try to stay on top of that. Oh, I forgot. Let me say hello to everyone. Good morning, Kristen. Thank you so much for joining. And Jillian, thank you for joining us this morning. KS Granny is with us. Granny Debbie, my fellow Michigander. Disney nerd. You lurk away. I call it peeping, like a peeping Tom. I'm like doing one of those. Elizabeth Bailey. Factual lie. Thank you so much. And Melissa, yes. Get your cup of coffee. Hang out in the bed. I'll be jealous. I had to get, Ms. Demeanor going today. Let me see. Have I forgotten anyone? Oh, it's always tea time. Thank you so much for joining today. As I see any others filter in, I will try to put those comments up on the screen as well. Let's get into it.
21841-FC, People of the State of Michigan versus Dale Warner. I'd like to just thank everyone for their patience this morning. Is there anything we need to address before we bring the jury?
I just want to put a handful of stipulations on the record as far as his exhibits go.
Okay, yeah, I'm zippity
We
doing
would
on past
stipulate
this.
survey
I
by-
don't.
64,
I
265.
love the fact.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay.
I love the fact that they are stipulating to so much because it's making the testimony go along a lot smoother. Don't we love that? This Michigan court, I am here for it. I'm loving them. Juror questions, smooth sailing, stipulating to exhibits. It's so much better. Well, good grief. I didn't know we had this much time. I would have queued it a little better. Sorry, y'all.
Ivan.
This will be witness number 16.
Sir, before you sit down, I'll ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
Do.
Okay, you can go ahead and sit down.
Can you state your full name and spell it for the record?
Ivan Alexander Boyd, IVAN ALEXANDER, Boyd, BOYD.
Where were you employed in April of 2021?
War Egg Farms,
And how long had you been employed there at that point in time?
4 years.
Did you work for the farm business?
Yes,
And did you become familiar with Dale Warner?
yes,
Did you become familiar with Dee Warner?
yes.
What was your relationship with Dale Warner like?
He was my boss. We worked together closely. Besides the mechanic and one other hand, I handled most of the field work that he didn't have time to do or wanted me to do.
Okay. And you said besides the mechanic or another field worker, who are you referring to?
I was referring to Jim Hawkins and Randy Kane.
What was your relationship with Dee Warner at that time like?
I mean, as good as it ever was or wasn't. I mean, it depended on the day, but we were close.
Okay.
She was, again, my boss.
Okay. When you say it depended on the day, what do you mean by that?
To have good days and she'd have bad days where,
She was a tough cookie.
something upset her and you just, it was what it was and you left it alone and you just, if you couldn't help, you just stayed out of the way.
What were your typical job duties on the farm?
I ran truck for the trucking for the trucking company side of it, and then when I would come back, we'd farm.
Okay. When you say ran truck for the trucking side of it, what do you mean?
I helped out with the trucking. I would run loads for the trucking side of the company when we didn't necessarily have enough for me to do in the off season.
Okay. So when you say run loads, are you talking about doing deliveries or pickups?
Yes, deliveries and pickups. So
Okay.
I would leave in the morning and come back usually sometime in the afternoon.
And when you talked about farming, tell me what that entailed.
I applied fertilizer. I worked ground, odds and ends kinds of things. Took care of the cows, stuff like that.
Okay. Did you do any of the mechanical work on the farm?
I did from time to time.
And what would that be?
General maintenance, mostly on the trucking side of it. I would do services, tire changes, general maintenance stuff up to diagnosing electrical lights, stuff on the trailers. Just pretty much anything that needed to be done.
Did you ever have to do any welding on the farm?
Yes, from time to time.
Okay. And what types of things would you have to weld?
Brackets, small repairs on trailers, on trucks.
Where did most of your work get done?
Most of, as far as the mechanical work,
If you were working on the farm property that day on Munger Road, would you work in a specific area?
usually in the old shop. That's where most of the tools and all of the supplies and everything were.
Okay. Can I have Mr. Lee flip that first exhibit over for me, please?
Yes.
And what is that area?
That is the layout of the home farm on Munger Road.
Okay. There should be a pointer up there on the stand with you, a little collapsible, pulls out. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Can you identify the old shop where you just testified you normally did work?
That would have been number 1 right here. Mostly in the front part here, that is where the main shop is. And then this back here was mostly just part storage.
I'm sorry, your head was turned.
Oh.
So
This is number 1. This
Yep.
is the old shop. The front part here is where most of the work occurred.
okay.
And then the back part here is mostly storage.
Storage. Okay. Who were the employees that you dealt with most often on the farm?
Probably Jim Hawkins and Dale.
Did you know Jason Gravel?
I did. I guess I didn't know him really well. At that time, I was still trucking quite a bit, and I would only be back for a few hours in the end of the day, and depending on what he was working on, I didn't really spend a whole lot of time with him. No.
Okay. Did you know Todd Nierink?
I did.
And who was Todd to you?
Todd Nierink was the dispatcher. He's who told me what trailer I needed to take, gave me my marching orders for the morning as far as trucking.
Okay. And would somebody
Like a
different give you
dispatcher.
marching orders for the farming side of things?
Usually Dale would give me whatever it was that I was doing when I got back.
Did you know Terry Nierink?
I did.
And who was Terry? at the
Terry
farm?
is Todd's brother. He also drove truck for the trucking side.
Okay. Did you interact with him a lot?
Not really, other than to ask him if he came back and he had a problem with his truck. I would ask him what was going on with it, but other than that, no.
Okay. Were you familiar with Chiron Warner?
Yes,
And who was Chiron?
Sharon is Dale's son.
And did he also work on the farm at that time?
Yes.
And do you know what he essentially did for the farm?
Again, odds and ends stuff, mostly spreading fertilizer, dry fertilizer.
How long had you known Chiron in up to April 2021?
About 4 years, about the same amount of time that I worked there.
And did you have any opportunities during the 4 years to observe Chiron driving onto the property or off of the property?
Yes.
And did you know what vehicle he typically drove?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 81.
Remember, everyone, Jaron is Dale's son, and at one time was charged with tampering with evidence and assistance after a crime. I can't think of what that term is, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Words are hard this Saturday morning. And so that's what they're referencing. Jaron is Dale's son. Dale had multiple sons, but this particular son is the one that worked on the farm that was wrapped up in charges that were ultimately dismissed.
So this is a screenshot from a body cam dated 4/27/21. Do you recognize the person not with the sheriff's
Sorry.
vest on? Okay, and who is that?
That's Chiron Warner.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this photograph to the left, you see two trucks, correct?
Correct.
All right, so the farthest truck to the left, away from Jaron, do you know whose truck that is?
That is Dale's new truck.
Okay, and how do you know that?
It has step boards and it is taller. He also had, if I remember right, black bumpers on his work truck, and that has a chrome bumper.
Okay, what about the vehicle directly in front of but to the left of Jaron?
The GMC,
Yes.
that is Jaron's truck,
Okay, and how do you know that?
because that was the that was the only black GMC that that was on the farm.
Y'all, I got myself confused there. I'm going to back this up for the description because I think it's important we know who belongs to what truck. And I don't think I have a clear understanding. So I am so sorry.
Okay, so if I'm looking at this photograph to the left, you see two trucks, correct?
Correct.
All right, so the farthest truck to the left, away from Chiron, do you know whose truck that is?
That is Dale's new truck.
Okay, and how do you know that?
It has step boards and it is taller. He also had, if I remember right, black bumpers on his work truck, and that has a chrome bumper.
Okay, what about the vehicle directly in front of but to the left of Chiron?
The GMC,
Yes.
that is Jaren's truck,
Okay, and how do you know that?
Okay.
because that was the that was the only black GMC that was on the farm.
Okay. Sorry about that, everybody. I just wanted to make sure I had.
And then you
that
mentioned
correct in
Jim
my
Hawkins that you knew from the farm.
Yes.
Do you know what Jim Hawkins' typical duties would be on the farm?
General maintenance, whatever needed fixed. He was the head mechanic.
The head mechanic, okay. And then you mentioned Dale. Did Dale typically do work on the farm?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay. Do you know what types of things Dale did as far as the farming side of things go, or no?
Dale was primarily responsible for spraying any application of chemical, not fertilizer, anhydrous, as far as applying it to the fields owned by the farm, planting,
anhydrous.
anything small and little, usually on the weekends, spray weeds, stuff like that. Basic duties a husband would carry out.
Okay. Did you ever, during
Like
the 4
putting in
years
a
that you
kitchen
worked there,
sink.
observe Dale welding anything?
Once or twice, maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Were they any big projects?
Not usually.
Who would typically do the welding work for the business?
Prior to him leaving, Randy King usually did most of the welding projects, and after that, I believe Jason did.
Jason.
Jason Gravel.
Okay.
Both of them had more experience and were better welders.
And did you know Zack back?
Yes,
And how long had you known Zack back?
about 4 years.
Did you meet him at the time that you started at the trucking company or
I
prior?
met him about 2 months before I started working for Dale and Dee.
Okay. And what's your relationship with Zack back?
He's my fiance.
So have you been with him the entire time since 2017?
No.
Okay.
When I left the farm in June of 21, I also left Zack.
Okay. And did you at
Aw.
some point reconcile?
Yes.
When was that?
Oh, good.
I believe it was September.
Of that same
Somewhere in
year?
there, yes.
September
Correct.
21?
Oh, good.
Correct.
How awful. This wrecked everybody's life, not just
So you talked a little bit about
Dale and the daughter.
the sprayer.
Unbelievable.
What is the sprayer? What's the function of that?
Sprayer.
Sprayer applies fungicide, herbicide, and pesticides in liquid form to the field.
Do you know if there was a Kubota on the farm?
Yes,
How many were there?
there were 2.
Okay. I'm going to show you People's 21. Do you recognize that Kubota?
Yes.
And what did the other Kubota look like? Let me start there.
The other Kubota was gray. It had no glass in it and no doors and was fairly beat up.
Okay. When you say gray, was it like fully gray or?
It was gray. So everything that's black on there basically was gray. And the body panels were also camo on that one as well.
Okay, so it was camo with gray as opposed to black in the 21 photograph.
Yes.
Okay. And who would typically drive the Kubota in 21? This photograph right here.
That was Dale's.
Okay. Did anybody else drive that Kubota?
Very rarely, unless we were in a field with him doing tile work or something like that. But no, there would be no reason for anyone else to drive it on the farm.
Okay. And is that because there was the second Kubota?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 20, the JCB. Are you familiar with that item?
Yes.
And what types of things around the farm did you do with that item?
It loaded fertilizer. That was its main duty. It's sitting in the fertilizer barn in that picture.
Loaded.
We also used it. We also used it to load various things around the farm.
When you say the fertilizer barn, I'm going to refer you again to the map behind you, and I'm going to have you identify what you're referring to as the fertilizer barn.
In that picture there, in that picture, it is sitting in this barn right here, barn number 2.
Oh, directly
And it's
behind the
sitting about,
residence.
actually right where my pointer is.
Ah, well, that's helpful.
Is there another name for that, JCB?
Telehandler,
A what?
a telehandler, but that we all called it the JCB.
Okay. Have you ever referred to it as a front end loader?
Front end loader. That's how I know it.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
I haven't,
Sure.
no.
You haven't personally.
Oh my gosh, that's what everybody refers to it as. Front end loader, because it's the front that you can do the loading.
If you did welding on the farm,
How odd.
what location would you have done the welding at?
Every time that I welded, I did it in,
Objection relevance.
Oh, I think it's
goes
very
to the
relevant.
location, the spray barn would not be a location that you would weld in, and that's exactly where we're alleging that Mr. Warner did the welding.
But what does it matter where he would weld?
Because he was the only one that did it.
I think it's relevant to where other people welded or where welding typically occurred on the farm.
Yay, Judge Oldsaver! Woo-hoo!
sorry, can you repeat the question?
Where would you typically do welding at on the farm if you were welding?
Typically, welding was done in the old shop, which would be the barn number 1 there on the chart. There were several welders in that barn, as well as in this part of barn number 5. There was also a welder.
Okay, and what do you call barn number 5?
That was the new shop.
All right, so I'm going to take you back to number 1, the old shop. And can you earlier you identified there's a front portion of the old shop and a back portion of the old shop. Can you identify which portion of that shop would the welding would be done?
That would be done in the front part up here. Most of the so there's a barn door and a bay in the center, and then all the different equipment is down this side of the shop here.
The back side of it.
The line right here is the separation between the upstairs and the downstairs part of it.
Okay, so essentially if you were inside the front portion of the old shop, you would have to go up a level to the second section in the back that you described?
You would have to go down. You would go down the
Down.
ramp into the back section.
Okay, perfect. And then in the new shop, that's a pretty big building there, number 5. Can you identify where in there the new shop the welding equipment would have been?
It would have been somewhere in these. I believe there was 3
Oh.
bays in this barn here. So there's what's called an apron on this barn here. That is about the reference where the shop part stops, and the front part of that was storage. But this part was the shop, so that would have occurred somewhere in here.
Did you ever do any?
I say, oh, because I'm going to back us up just a bit here. I want to point out, I don't know if you all remember when we saw the surveillance cameras on the property, the security cameras. This area back here was one of the dead spots in which there was no security camera coverage. So it looks like there's a pad here, which means you would be able to get in there without being seen on any security cameras. I'm anxious to find out if that is indeed what they are alleging. I don't know if y'all can see this little pad thing that I'm talking about here, but I remember this area being dead. You couldn't see anything. You could see the scales. This is where the scales are for them to weigh the trucks. And you could see some sort of angle like this and this, if I remember correctly, from the corner of this particular building. But this all back here was dead space that you would not be able to see anything. So
somewhere in here.
Did you ever do any welding in number 7, building number 7?
Not that I can recall.
Okay, and what do you call building number 7?
Building number 7 is the spray barn.
Okay. Have you ever observed anybody else doing any welding in the spray barn?
No.
Well, that's significant.
All right, we're going to go back to the old shop, and I'm going to show you some photographs of the inside so we can get a better understanding what that layout looks like. I'm going to show you Exhibit 146 that was taken on April 27th, 2021.
This would have been 3 days after Dee disappeared.
Yes.
Is that the old shop?
Yes.
Okay. Point 2. So you talked about a bay door. Is that what you just described on the front of that building, number 1?
Yes.
Okay. Can you point to it again, please?
So that photograph is taken in this back corner looking east, and that door the overhead door that you see is on this end of the barn.
Exhibit 147.
Yes.
And so that's just kind of turning a little bit to one wall. Which wall would that be?
That would have been the south wall. So that would be looking, that walk door is in this corner, on this end of the barn.
I'm loving how
And
organized the wrenches are.
That bench there is
I
this
like some
front
good organization.
side here.
And there's some items up there. It looks like a shelf. Is that a shelf?
Yes.
Okay. And so what types of items are on that shelf?
That was all what we call consumables. So there would be paint, there would be lubricants, basically anything that you used part of a can, you'd put it up there. Wrenches, tools that you would use often.
Okay. When you say paint, are you referring to like a can of paint or?
Various cans of paint that would be, they were just whatever so say you welded on something, you didn't want it to rust, you'd hit it with whatever you had that kind of matched what was on it.
Rust-Oleum.
And that was where we kept it. They were just half-used pieces.
Okay. So maybe I'm sorry, maybe I asked the question wrong. So the paint cans that you saw up there, are they your typical big paint cans, or are you talking about spray paint?
They would be spray cans.
Okay.
Everything that was up there was all aerosol. All the brake clean, all the consumables were aerosols.
Did y'all go back to sleep in the chat?
People's 148. And again, is that just moving over again a little bit?
Yes, that would be further towards this end here.
Okay. And what types of items are in that area right now?
Again, they're consumables. There's some wrenches, our grinding discs, all that stuff was kept in pretty close proximity because we used it quite often.
All right. So you mentioned grinding discs. Were grinders kept in this area as well?
I believe so, yes.
All right. Here's Exhibit 149. And that photograph was taken on October 11th, 2021.
Hey, USMC.
Can you just describe that for me?
That would be standing in the walk door that I mentioned before in this front corner here, and the viewpoint is looking back towards this back corner back here.
Okay. So if I were to walk all the way back there, and you discuss going to the back section from there, how do I get there from here?
You would walk directly almost into the center of that picture. There's a large red toolbox back there, and there was a path back there to get down a ramp to get into the back section.
Okay.
Well, the real Emily Ross, you can always go back and replay it. That's the beauty.
And this is People's 150. And so, again, tell me where I'm at. Is this still the old shop?
Yes.
Where am I at in the old shop?
You are just zoomed in on the left side of that picture. That would be somewhere right in here along this wall.
Okay. And just for the record, it looks like you're pointing to the north wall of that shop.
Yes, that would be the north wall. Right along here is where that would be.
Okay. And what items are kept over there?
The welders, the plasma cutters, toolbox.
That is quite a toolbox, too, I might add.
Okay. And that photograph was from April 27th, 2021. Were those kept in those same condition the entire time you had worked there? Were those kept in that same
Yes.
spot? Okay. People's Exhibit 151.
Yes,
And what is that?
that is the back storage part of the shop, the old shop.
Okay.
It's all good, YPC. I'm
And
sorry.
again, that photograph was taken April 27th,
I'm
2021.
You can peep away.
Exhibit 152.
Also of the back shop.
So if I just looked at, so I'm looking at the further left corner of this photograph. Is that the ramp we just saw in the last picture?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm going to show you People's 153. What are these items up here? This is a zoomed in photograph of 152.
Those were mostly spare parts
Oh.
that we had laying around. We kept
Oh.
hitch pins,
The hook.
tow hooks for the back of trucks, chains, some consumables, a generator, a portable welder, stuff like that back there.
Okay, if I'm looking at that end cap, there's two end caps in the photograph. If I'm looking at the one to the left, what items are kept up there?
Hooks and hitch pins,
Okay.
steel hooks and hitch pins.
Yep. We know where this is going.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 154. And where am I at now?
You would be standing at the top of the ramp at the end of the toolbox. That would be this. You'd be standing about right here, just above the ramp.
What are these items? It looks like tanks. What are those?
Those are oxygen, acetylene, and argon bottles of gas. They're used for welding and cutting with torches.
I agree. I can admire
I'm
some.
going to show you People's Exhibit 155. And is that directly, where is this located at?
That is located in the picture that you showed before, along the north wall of the shop where the welders and the plasma cutters were kept.
Okay, and what is this item that is red on the left?
That is a welder.
The red one?
Yes,
Okay, what's the blue one to the left of that?
that is also a welder.
What are the yellow tanks?
That'd be shielding gas, the argon gas that we use to shield with. That helps shield the weld while it's cooling, while it's being applied.
All right. I'm going to zoom in and do you recognize, maybe I'm going to zoom in. Do you recognize what those are?
Those are protective gloves that we would use for welding or torching.
I think the two welders, I'm not positive, but I would think one is a TIG welder, one's a MIG welder.
I'm going to show
but I'm
you
not
people's
positive.
exhibit 156. Where is this located at?
That is just left of the last picture on the north wall of the shop next to the toolbox.
What's this? Did it zoom in? Okay.
That would be a welding helmet.
My dad was a beast with organization, so
I'm going to show you people's exhibit
this is what I'm used to
157.
seeing.
Do you recognize that item?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
It's a forklift.
How many forklifts were on the farm to the best of your knowledge?
We had 2.
What would you use it for?
We would generally use it for moving anhydrous tanks around. We'd use them for moving pallets of stuff, like in that picture there, the power washer there on the pallet. We would move that out to where we would power wash anything that needed lifted or moved around that was too heavy to handle by hand.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 158. Now that's a zoomed in photograph of the forks.
Yes.
Can you explain the forks to me?
Both of the forks had holes cut in them so that we could, it was easier to fasten things to the end of them. You could take on the front of wagon tongue, for instance, you could put it over the tongue and drop a pin through it. It made handling and lifting things easier.
Okay. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit if that's easier to see.
We see them. See the little holes.
So at the very ends of those forks, are those the holes you're talking about?
Yes.
All right. And did you ever use a chain or anything with those holes?
Yes.
For what?
Just basically as a safe point to lift
Secure it,
in
I
order
would think.
to you could either put a bolt in it to keep a chain from coming off the end and dropping whatever you were trying to lift, or you could put a pintle in there and be able to loop your chain through it. It just made for safer handling.
Would you typically work on Sundays?
Depending on the time of year, yes. Sundays were usually the day off, but
Okay.
in the and planting
season?
and harvest, it really
Yeah.
didn't matter.
All right. Were you working on April 25th, 21 at the Munger Farm?
I was working on a personal vehicle of mine.
Okay. So were you supposed to show up for work that day?
I was not.
What did you have to work on your truck?
I believe I was doing radiator hoses.
Did anybody go with you?
My little brother came to help me.
How old was your little brother?
He's 4 years younger than me. So at the time, he would have been about 20.
I just want to make sure I'm talking about like a 5-year-old or something.
No.
Good point.
When you got to the farm, do you recall approximately what time it was?
Mid to late morning, I believe.
Did you see anybody else on the farm when you got there?
I don't remember seeing anyone right away. I don't remember how long it was, but the first person that I remember seeing was Dale.
Do you remember approximately what time that was?
Maybe 10, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there.
Do you remember where you saw him at?
He came out to the shop, the old shop.
And is that where you were?
That was where I was working on my personal vehicle.
Did you end up working in the old shop all day, or did you go between buildings?
I predominantly worked in the old shop all day.
How many times throughout the day if you recall, did you see Dale?
Maybe 3 or 4.
Was it always at the old shop or any other locations?
I believe it was. To the best of my knowledge, it was only up in the old shop. I was there most of the day.
Did you have the opportunity to view some surveillance footage in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And
Oh, this is what I wanted.
you originally
Kissy!
watched
Good morning.
a lengthy bit of surveillance footage. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you some surveillance footage from the farm from April 25th. And I'm going to stop and have
Oh,
a couple of questions
boy.
here and there for you, okay?
This is what we've all been wanting to see, right? I have been waiting. I knew this was when I was preparing for today. I saw that there was a bunch of security camera footage that they went over. So I am ready. Take a deep breath. Everybody take a sip of your drinky poo. I assume it's probably coffee, hot cocoa, or something like that. Mine, of
Probably
course,
going to play this for you.
Dr. Pepper Zero.
Okay, this is 4:25, approximately 6:58 a.m.
Ooh, he's boogieing. I can see that bald dome.
And do you recognize the person in that? Is that the JCB?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recognize that person?
Yes.
How?
You can tell by the name tag, the posture, the hairline. That is Dale in the JCB.
Okay. Did you think that this photo or this original image was strange to you at first?
Yes.
Objection as to relevance.
Well, let me rephrase the question. I'll withdraw that question and I'll ask another.
It allows to move to strike the response.
So the answer will be stricken, and the jury directed not to consider that response.
Did you notice anything different about Mr. Warner at this time?
Yes.
And what's that?
He's not wearing a hat
Why is that different to you?
I thought that
because
too.
we all wore hats. I count on one hand the times I've seen Dale out of the house without a hat.
You could see that bald noggin.
That's approximately 7:13 a.m. Can you show me on this map that's still in front of you where I'm looking on this footage? Where am I at?
I think that's in between by where
The
the
point
scales
of view
are.
is
Yep,
from
by the
this
scales.
end of barn 6, which would have been the office. This tree here that is partially obstructing the view of that camera is this tree right here. And that viewpoint is looking out towards this barn out here. You're basically looking almost straight at the corner of this building, number 7 here.
Okay.
Every interview we saw. Oh, they got there late. Oh,
And this is
that's
7:23.
that's the little
AM.
gator looking thing. Oh,
Okay.
I thought that
Well,
was
let
the
me
gator
go
I
just a
saw in
little bit
between
further.
there.
All right. Can you identify again which direction on the map, where we're at on the map?
Yeah, tell us,
Yes,
tell us,
that
tell
is
us.
that is placed in the same location. This red mark here on the map is the farm scale, and the end of that is what you are looking at right there. So
Oh,
that JCB is traveling this way around the front corner of that barn.
Okay. So just for clarification, if I'm looking at the tree just to the right of it, I see a little bit of red.
Yes.
Is that the scale that you were just referring
Yes.
to? Okay.
do you all see what she was referencing? So this right here is the beginning of the scale going that way. I hope you can see my cursor. So he was coming around the front of the property, which north would be this other way, like kind of left of what the view we're getting right now would be north.
Okay, approximately 7:30 a.m.
Somebody's moving something on a forklift. There's the forklift again.
And would that be coming from the opposite direction so before you said he was going towards the front of the office, so would that be coming from the front of the office?
Yes.
And the direction, again, is that going back to the spray barn?
Yes.
And you watched this footage, again, a couple of times, is that correct?
Yes.
And the person on the fork, is this a fork truck in the
Yes.
video? Did you recognize that person?
Yes.
How?
It was posture, glasses. It's Dale in the picture on the forklift.
Okay.
Oop, oop, oop. And he had something on that forklift the first time that he went back that way. It's empty both
Okay, again, we're looking at 7:40.
at these. What is he doing? Because he's got to go do some spraying.
And again, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but based on what you testified to earlier, does that appear as he's going back to the spray barn again at 7:42?
That is correct.
Okay, we're looking at approximately 11:18 a.m. Do you recognize this? I'm going to call it a vehicle that's in the photograph.
Yes.
What is that?
That is the sprayer.
Is that the sprayer that you kind of described to us earlier with the
Yes,
farming?
that is correct.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know where my wife is, but I got to go do some spraying. Spray, spray,
All right,
spray,
now we're at
spray.
about 12:43 p.m. on the 25th. Where am I at?
You are sitting, that view is facing out the driveway. So the view is from basically the center of the barn facing forward.
All right. And is this where you were working on your vehicle?
That is correct.
Are you in this video?
Yes.
All right. And who's in this video with you?
The individual standing next to the truck is my little brother.
Okay. You can kind of see some legs and some dogs. Do you remember who that was that came in there?
That was Dale.
I know it's about, a couple of years later. Do you remember any conversation that you had with him that day?
I don't really. The only conversation that I remember from that day was when he came out to tell me that he thought Dee had left.
Okay. Was that one of the first times that you had interaction with him that day?
Yes.
All right. Now we're looking at 12:51. Where am I at?
You are directly above the walk
I don't
door
need to see his noggin. Show me
in the
the
front of
evidence.
barn one here, and you're looking just kind of straight down right in this general area in this corner right here.
Did you observe the vehicle that drove into this building?
Yes,
You talked about the two different Kubotas. Which Kubota would this one be?
that would have been Dale's.
We can only see a half of a body here. Do you recognize the body?
Yes.
Based on what?
Clothing, posture. That's Dale.
Again, just a different angle of the Kubota coming into the old shop.
Yes. You can tell that's Dale's because it has the doors open. The other Kubota did not have doors.
Ah,
Thank you.
the camel one had doors.
All right, 12:51 and 50 seconds. Again, where am I at?
You are sitting in, or you are looking down from the center of the shop, the camera that was in the center here, and you are looking towards the south wall.
Is this your truck here?
No, that is the farm's truck.
Okay.
He's got a hat on now. We've only ever seen him in any of these questioning body cam videos with a hat on.
Were you able to tell who that person was in that clip?
That is Dale.
And how did you recognize him?
Posture, clothing,
I can see
mannerisms.
that's Dale.
Okay, 12:52. Same thing going back to the Kubota.
Yes.
And now he's leaving. He boogies, man.
We have about 12:53. And what direction?
He's heading back towards the spray barn.
Okay, in the Kubota still?
That is correct.
$12:59. There's a vehicle that pulls in. Do you recognize
Oh.
that vehicle?
That appears to be Jaron's truck.
Okay. And what makes you believe that was Jaron's truck?
Jaron's truck's GMC in black. That was the only one that we had, or that the farm that came to the farm. You can also tell there's chrome underneath there's chrome moldings underneath the driver and underneath the windows.
Okay. And within a matter of seconds, we see what do you see here?
That is Dale's Kubota heading back around the front of the barn.
Okay. And this is 1:13 p.m. Where am I on this map?
The Kubota is coming. He's come down the ramp here, and it is heading back this way. That's this lighter section here is the cement pad that you see in the picture there, and he is heading east towards barn 2.
One 1:14 p.m.
Dale's Kubota headed back.
Same spot. Okay. Now I'm at 1:14 and 37 seconds. Where am I at? I keep asking where I'm at. Obviously, it's not me. Can you identify where we're at?
Yes.
Thank you.
You are looking You're sitting about right here
Oh,
in
boy.
the back in the storage shop. The photos that we looked at that you showed me before here of the storage area in the back of the old shop.
Okay. Again, we see the back of a person. Are you familiar with who that is?
Yes, that's Dale.
Yes, YP Kamshik or Kamshik. I don't know. I don't think I'm saying your name right.
Okay,
YP.
this is 1:15 p.m. Where am I at now?
You are sitting in about the same spot, but you're looking out the back. So there is, in this back part of the shop, there is that overhead door is on this wall here.
Got
going
it.
This way. So you're sitting about right here looking back
Okay.
towards the north.
Okay.
Oh, do I have everything Dale says? I don't think I have everything. I don't have my cover up a murder kit completely.
Okay, now we're at
comprised.
1:15 and 23 seconds.
Oh, tell me you pick up that portable welder and take it. No, okay. I was waiting for it.
Is that the same
Oh,
person?
he's got
Yes.
some other piece of something or other.
Okay, now we're at 1:26 p.m.
That is Dale's Kubota heading back around the front part of the office, heading back towards the spray barn.
Gray barn. Yes, Kelly, he is. Shopping in his own schmurder aisles.
Okay, now we're at 1:46 p.m.
Oh, got a sprayer out again, it looks like.
Be the sprayer.
This is very, now I understand why they had charges against Jaron. Because I think Jaron is at the spray barn this entire time. We haven't seen him leave.
Tree limbs are awful, huh? The tree branches.
Yes, they are.
I have a feeling, YP Comchick, that this tree was not the size when they originally put these cameras in.
Okay, we're at 1:48 p.m. What's that?
That is the sprayer.
Okay, how is that? What direction is that heading out on this map?
That would be pulling. That would be pulling along around the outside of the scale and heading this way towards the road. And it appears that it pulls up and around and is then facing back east in front of the shop. Or I'm sorry, in front of the office.
So this is 2:18 p.m. Do you see all the way in the right corner of this photograph?
Yes.
What is that?
That is the sprayer.
How do you know that?
The distance between the bottom of the hood and the ground, the spray booms that are sticking out in front.
This is what he's referring
We didn't have
to.
any other equipment that matches that description.
We believe, YP Comchick, that
Okay, we're at 2:41 p.m.
that he hang on, I got to get caught up on my life here. We believe that it was a fit of rage over her saying she wanted to divorce and sell the businesses because her successful trucking business is what was supporting all of his unsuccessful agricultural or farming businesses. That's what is believed at that point. Oh, let me get you all going again. Back up because she talks about a time here.
PM.
Oh my word. Y'all, this is what happens when I hit a button sometimes. Bear with me. I do apologize. Ay, Janet. Let's try that again. There we go.
And do you see the spray? Oh, do you see the sprayer?
Yes.
Okay. Where's that parked on the snap?
That is parked about right here, somewhere right in the middle of this driveway pointing north.
Okay. Where would that sprayer typically be parked when coming back to the farm, if you know?
If it wasn't being parked back into the spray barn, it would be lined up in this orientation, the same as these vehicles here along this row and this gravel next to the driveway.
Okay.
Hey, Cat. Yeah, I don't know if you all can see or not. I'm going to back this up just a little bit so that we can get an orientation to what he's talking about. So what we keep seeing is, and it's hard to see in this particular picture, but here's my cursor kind of in the middle. I'm going to try to show you. So we keep seeing the sprayer and the Kubota and all of that. This over here is what they call the spray barn. And so what we keep seeing is he's going from the spray barn, I'm assuming, to in front of, this is the front of the office right here. And then, this is the scale. So that different kind of color that we see, the red mark, this is the scale right here. So we see him going this way, and then he's going back that way. And then we see him going this way, and then he's going back that way with multiple different pieces of equipment. And at one point, he took the Kubota all the way over to the old shop, which is located right here. That is where this particular witness was working on his own personal vehicle that day, that Sunday after Dee disappeared. Well, we can just say after she was murdered and killed. So that's kind of the lay of the land. I think we're going to start getting into some cover footage that is in this area back here, because this is where a lot of the tanks were sitting and some of the trucks. So that's where I think we're going next. They had a lot of security cameras on this property. So yeah, he had to be very careful. But he wasn't that careful. See, now he shows up.
Okay,
in this
now we're at
area.
246. Again, where am I at?
You are sitting on that viewpoint is from here looking back. These three tanks that you see here are the three tanks that are in the picture. Dale's Kubota is over here, and the semi that's pulling around here is sitting somewhere right in here.
Hi, Serenity. So his businesses were not successful.
And what's this item at
He's
249?
trucking
That
business
is
was
the
successful.
versatile tractor.
What is the versatile tractor?
Versatile tractor was primarily used to pull the corn planter on the farm.
Do you know who
Oh.
typically drove that planter?
That would be Dale.
So again, at 2:51,
He's heading back to that
are we
spray
back by the
barn.
scales?
Yes.
Same, back to the spray barn.
Okay,
Oh.
now we're at
Person.
3 p.m. Approximately 3:01. I apologize. Do you recognize that person walking?
That is Dale.
And where's that at on the farm?
That he is walking in this little area right here towards the scale,
Right in
in
front
this
of
in
the,
this way
to the left of the scale.
around the corner of the office.
Something else I do want to point out to everyone with that, the fact that he was able to get out of the versatile tractor in 10 minutes past, because we saw the versatile tractor go to the spray barn and then we didn't see him, and all of a sudden he shows up walking in the same way that the versatile tractor went, shows that he would be able to maneuver on this property and not be seen by a security camera. That's what this is telling me.
We're looking at 3:12 p.m. Where am I at now?
You are in the new shop, and you would be this ramp here came out the east side of the barn. You're sitting about right here, looking this way, out towards the east.
What's this item being pulled out of the new? What building is this? First off,
That is the new shop.
okay. And what's this
building
item?
number 5 on your?
Okay, what's this item being pulled out of there?
That is the corn planter.
They have excellent cameras, the real Emily. And so this tells me he went all the way around the back
Okay, we're
of
at
the property.
3:13 p.m. approximately.
It's a same piece of equipment, better view coming around the front part of the office there on the corner
So-
heading west.
I'm sorry, I can't hear
I'm
you.
sorry. That's a better view of the versatile pulling the corn planter
Okay.
around the front corner of the
Oh,
office.
Lord.
Okay.
Change.
And now we're at 3:17 p.m.
Yes.
First, show me where I'm at on this.
That semi truck is sitting in this orientation. The front of it is about right here. You're looking down the side of this barn, right here, where that little line right there. That's where that cement is stopping in that photo there.
Okay. And is that
We
a
have no
Kubota
idea now.
in this frame?
Yes,
And which Kubota would that be?
that would be Dale's.
If he could have used the numbers, that would have been great. I could tell you guys where we are, but
Now we're at 3:18 p.m.
That would be Dale's Kubota.
I'd like to know on a normal day
3:21
how many
p.m.
times Dale
The same
goes
machine.
back and forth between the spray barn
3:41 p.m.
and everything else.
And again, is that the area you just showed us on the
Yes.
side of the new shop?
That is correct.
Is that also the front of that? I can't remember what you called the planter, but whatever pulled the planter.
That would be Are you referring to the east end of the fertilizer barn here?
No, I'm talking about the piece of equipment, the red piece of
yes,
equipment.
yes. That is the front of the first tile tractor. Yes.
Right here.
Okay. That now we're at 4:29 p.m.
Oh,
And do you recognize
Oh.
whose vehicles those are?
The vehicle down closer to the bottom right corner of the screen is Dale's Kubota. The pickup truck pulling out of there is Todd Nerick's pickup truck.
Did you see Todd Nerick on the property on the 25th?
I don't remember now.
Now we're at 4:32. What am I looking at?
You are looking in that out of that same camera on the back side of the old shop looking out this way, and that is the JCB.
Okay. Do you recognize the person that's in there?
It appears to be Dale Warner.
Okay. Now we're looking at 4:37 p.m. (4:39 p.m.)
oh,
All right. Now we're at 4:52 p.m.
Yes.
Where am I at?
You are in the old shop in the center, and you are looking down into this corner here where the welding equipment was kept.
oh boy.
And do you recognize this person?
Yes,
And who is that?
that appears to be Dale.
And is that because you've watched the surveillance footage again? You've gone over it?
Yes, and that day he was the only one that would have been on the farm with uniform shirt on like that. Everybody else was in either sweatshirts or
Street clothes.
their own personal clothes.
Okay. What are you familiar with the item that the defendants leaned down in front of?
Yes,
And what is that item?
that appears to be a welder.
Okay. Is there, I'm not familiar with welders. I don't weld. Is there something on the bottom of welders?
Yes.
What?
So down in that front section there on a welder, there's a little flip down. It's kind of like a book. Shows you the different thicknesses, where to set the welder for different materials, thicknesses, so that you can properly weld.
$453. What's that red item?
The one against the wall there is a welder.
Whoa. We got to back that up because she's not commenting on it, but I don't know if you all noticed. He looks all of a sudden alarmed, like someone is coming or he's going to be caught. Let's back that up, and y'all tell me in the chat if you agree with me or not. He's
453. What's that red?
Is there somebody
item?
there? Is there somebody there? Oh.
The one against the wall there is a welder.
Okay.
That looks to me like he was hiding. He didn't want somebody to know he was in the old shop at this particular time doing whatever he is doing around this welder. Very, very suspicious.
4:55. Again, where am I at? Just remind me.
You're sitting above the walk door in the front of the shop here, and it appears as though Mr. Warner's walking out the front overhead door.
Okay. And if I didn't already say it, it's 4:56 p.m. at that time. $4:56 and 30 seconds approximately.
What's he got in his hand?
4:56 and 44 seconds. Again, did you watch this a couple of times?
Yes.
And were you able to identify the item in Mr. Warner's hand?
Oh, do tell us.
Or not in the video?
What's that?
Or not in the video?
What? Or not in the video? What?
It's okay if you can't identify it in the video.
No.
Okay.
Oh, I want to know. Oh, sneaking by
504.
the versatile tractor.
What's that vehicle?
That is Dale's Kubota.
Okay. 505. Remind me where I'm at.
You were in the back of the shop in the parts room, about right here, and you just walked in that door, right here.
Oh boy, we're going shopping again, everybody. He is definitely.
You recognize that person?
Yes.
That's the
Okay, who's
ramp that they've
This,
talked about as
Dale.
well. And now he comes back.
5:06 p.m. Is that again Dale?
Yes.
And it appears to me he's walking down the ramp. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And were you able to identify the items in his hand?
It appears as though he's carrying the welding mask and the gloves.
Oh
Okay,
boy,
507.
Dale.
.606. See a little bit of movement in there. Okay. Okay, 608. JCB again.
Yes.
610. Did you see which direction the JCB was going?
It appears to be going towards the spray barn.
Okay, 626. Who's this?
That is my pickup.
Okay. So at some point on the 25th, did you leave the farm?
Yes.
And for what?
I replaced the radiator hoses and I drove to the gas station on the corner to make sure that I didn't have any leaks and to get it warm.
Okay. So is this when you're arriving back to the property?
Yes.
And it looks like you are driving now towards the spray barn.
I did. It was,
And then at 6:37, it appears that you're leaving. Do you
Yes.
remember seeing Dale at the spray barn that day?
I do not.
Okay, there's 6:39, the JCB again. JCB, could you tell what direction that it was heading at 6:40 p.m.?
It appears as though it's headed towards the spray barn.
All right, at 6:41,
I agree, Elizabeth.
were you able to, after watching that, determine what that was that went by?
Yes,
And what was that?
that was the JCB.
Okay, and did you recognize anything in the bucket?
Yes,
How?
by the shape and the color.
Okay, and what did you recognize?
A welder.
Okay, and describe what you meant by the shape and color.
So most of our bottles were yellow. At least the ones we used for welding, that was the color for that particular shielding gas. And all of our MIG welders were blue Millers.
Whoopsie. Wow.
Okay, 643. Where am I at?
You are in the new shop looking out at the same camera that we watched the Versatile leave earlier, about right here. And you are looking towards the east.
And right about in the middle of that footage, do you see the blue and yellow item that you were referring to?
Yes,
Okay, and what is that?
that is a welder.
Do you all see what he's talking about? This is what he's talking about, is this thing right here. Are we going to see him actually load this and unload this? Shut the front door. I hope so. I am so here for this. Turns the lights off.
Okay.
She's exhausted having to say all of it. My notes, y'all, you should just see it's like time. He was
I
a
need to-
busy beaver on Sunday.
Figure out how to switch back to the photographs.
And it wasn't spraying. He was not spraying on Sunday like he told everybody he was doing. Like he was on Saturday too, spraying and doing tile work and all of that bahunkus that he fed us. Oh my.
How often during, I don't want that one. How often while you were worked there, did you go to the spray barn for anything?
Depending on the time of the year,
Okay. And what would you need to go back there for?
either to load customers with chemicals, load a tank with fertilizer for customers, things of that nature.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 84. Do you recognize that item under the camouflage blanket up there?
Yes,
What is that?
it was a safe.
And had you known that safe to be in there prior to April 25th, 2021?
Yes,
Do you know how long it was in there?
at least 6 months to a year, if
Oh,
I remember right.
All right.
oh, I just connected some dots in my head.
During the 4
Oh.
years that you had worked on the farm, had you ever seen a tank in an anhydrous tank inside the spray barn?
No,
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 85. Do you see a tank in the spray barn right there?
yes,
And would that not have been common then?
no.
Oh, we missed the picture.
Do you know if that spray barn had a lock on the door?
I believe it did, yes.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 178. Do you recognize that area?
Yes.
That's
Where am I
not-
at?
I'm connecting.
You are standing. I'm too sure. The cement pad here is the overhead door. Next to the overhead door, there's a walk door, which you see in the picture. So you are standing about right there.
Oh,
and
that's
looking in this direction
inside the spray
towards the
barn.
west.
Okay, now
Okay.
I understand. Okay, I'm getting orientation.
And would that be the door on that spray barn then?
Yes.
For
I-
clarification, can you So the spray barn, you just talked about the south side of it, correct?
Yes.
On the north end of that, was there another way to get in?
Yes.
And how was that?
There's an overhead door. There's this. It's a straight through building. You drive through this side of the barn here, and you can come out the back side and back out around the drive.
Okay.
No cameras out there, I would say. I don't remember seeing anything that would cover any sort of footage in that area. Oh, this is all coming together. I wondered why they talked about the safe earlier with some other witnesses' testimony. Now it makes sense to me. I mean, who's going to go look in a safe for somebody that's disappeared? And he only had to.
Did
keep
you
her
ever
in there
work
for
with
a
the
short period of
anhydrous tanks
time.
on the property?
Yes.
And where were they stored at?
Typically, they were stored along the driveway behind the fertilizer barn.
Show me on the map.
Typically, they were stored right along here when we had them at the farm. In season and out of season, they would be stored at two different properties.
Paragon being one.
Paragon Road Farm and the Carson Road Farm.
Okay. Now I'm going to have you flip to the, Mr. Lee, can you flip to the next map for me? 264.
Oh, we're getting a new map. Oh. A larger view of the property is what this looks like.
Did you say the Carson Farm or the Carson Barn?
The Carson Road Farm.
Okay. And where's that at in relation? So show me first the Munger Farm.
This here's the Munger Farm, the main home farm.
All right. And where was the Carson property?
That would be this one right here.
All right. And where's the barn you're talking about?
It would be there was this barn out back here that would have a few of them in the backside back here, and then there was the front barn that didn't usually hold any anhydrous tanks.
I just want to remind everyone, in case you've forgotten, also in this particular view that we're looking at, where he's pointing at is also where Raquel and her boyfriend Dustin were living, and I believe still live there. And he was in the midst of completely remodeling that property. So although it looks like it's not part of the same property, it kind of is, because I think it was all owned together. And so they call it the Carson Farm, but I don't think someone other than Dale and Dee owned it, because they owned a lot of land. So just kind of reminding everyone about that.
And then you indicated the other property where you guys stored tanks was?
Yes, the Paragon Road Farm.
Okay. Mr. Lee, thank you for your help.
Poor Mr. Lee is getting attacked.
All right. I know this is a bigger, more stretched out map, but can you find the Munger Farm on this map?
Oh boy.
I believe that the Munger Farm is up here, which would be the home farm up here.
All right. I'm going to have you wait to turn to me before you talk, because I can't, you're soft spoken. I can't.
This is the Munger Farm up here, the home farm.
Okay. And the Paragon property we're talking about where some extra tanks would be stored, where's that at?
Yeah, I want to know that.
That would be down here.
Oh, that's quite a
And do you know
distance,
approximately
y'all.
how far away it is?
Mile, maybe mile and a half
That looks way longer than a mile or a mile
around
and a
the
half.
corner and down the street.
Okay.
Over the river.
You
and through
discussed
woods.
the anhydrous tanks that were lined up. Can you put the first map back up, please? So the anhydrous tanks that you discussed that were lined up right there on the north side of the property.
Yes.
Are those full tanks, empty tanks? What are those?
Those were generally full tanks.
Okay. And were you storing full tanks or empty tanks at the Carson property?
Usually empty.
Okay. What about Paragon?
That would usually be a mix. Whatever we had that was filled and did not get used would be taken over there. And then whatever empties we had at the end of the season that we didn't refill because we didn't expect to have another customer, those would also go over there.
Okay. Were you ever part of the filling of the anhydrous tanks?
Yes.
And how did that? How do you fill a tank?
Tell us.
There are two hoses, one for gas and one for liquid. So you'd take the forklift out there and generally, if a customer brought the tank back empty, they would just drop it up here in this area and you'd scale it back in on the scale. And then these are the mother bottles. That's what we filled the tanks out of. If our driver had brought them back, he'd just bring them back and line them up around here. So you would connect both the hoses and make sure that your bleeders were closed. And then you would open your valves and start the pump, fill it until the level gauge was up to a certain, usually about 80%. You had to allow room for expansion in the heat. And then you would shut it off and use your bleeder valves to clear the section in the line that you connected it to the tank. And then after that, you could take your lines back off the top of the tank.
You mentioned people would bring tanks and drop them off back by the mother tanks. Is that what you said?
That would be the driver. If he brought them back and scaled them back in, they could be taken back to be directly filled again.
Okay,
He
so
said
the ones that are being brought back there are the
road.
empties that need to be filled.
Yes.
Okay, and what did you do after you filled them?
Once they were filled, they got parked back in this line along the north end of the farm.
Okay, was there anywhere else that those tanks were parked if they were full?
Usually, we had 4 larger tanks for the farm. Those were ours. Those, to the best of my knowledge, never went out to anybody. They were larger. They were more dangerous to pull down the road. They were heavier. They stored more. Those would be parked where I pointed right there. Those 4 tanks there, those were the farm's tanks. But other than that, that was not usually. There wasn't usually any other place that they were parked. No.
She's got to be wrapping up, I would
I'm going
think.
to show
at
you
this
people's
point.
exhibit 161. And do you recognize that?
Yes,
What is that?
that is the back of the Carson Road farm.
Okay, and so that
Ah.
would have been to the north, the one that you just showed us to the northeast? Okay,
Yes.
and this is people's 162. What are those?
Those are anhydrous tanks.
And people's 163?
Remember, everybody, the number on the tank that Dee's remains were found in, it was 34. So anytime we see the tank 34, because they're all numbered, that is the tank that she eventually was sealed in.
Again, anhydrous tanks.
And the previous one I just showed you, was that at the Carson property?
Yes.
What about this one?
This is also the Carson property.
Okay. People's 164?
There's one liquid fertilizer tank and more anhydrous tanks in that barn there. That appears to be the same barn.
And when you say one liquid fertilizer, I'm going to assume it's the only one that looks different from the other 3.
Yes, it would be the blue one with the orange frame.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to have you look at exhibit 165. Is that also on Carson?
Yes,
All right, and what are these?
those are anhydrous tanks.
Tank number 7, tank
Do you know
number
the
37.
sizes? Are there different sizes of tanks?
Yes. we had several different sizes. They were different shaped. Some of them were tall, shaped more like a barrel. Others looked more like a propane tank, but they all served the same function.
And were you shown a handful of photographs of tanks that were found on the Paragon Road property?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 90. Is that one of the tanks from Paragon Road?
Yes.
So I want to look at the design of these. Tell me about the front end of that anhydrous tank.
The front end of that tank there has your valves where you would hook up to fill it. That would be the two smaller ones closer to the back of the tank, or to the left in that picture. There is the larger valve in the front is where you would hook on to empty the tank. They're protected by a steel cage in case you had it come off of the truck. That protected the valves from being knocked off and emptying the tank in public. And then towards the back of the tank there, that little white piece that sticks up, that's protecting a relief valve.
I'm going to, oh, I can't do that.
Ma'am, I feel you.
So
I
the
hate
very
when my
back
computer
of
won't
that
do what I want it
photograph,
to
I
do.
was going to try to use the laser, but I can't, it's not working. So that is a cover for
That's the
what?
thing.
That is a relief valve.
Okay.
Under pressure and heat, when it gets warmer out, it expands and it causes pressure in the tank. If the tank is overfilled, that relief valve will pop and keep it from turning into basically a giant bomb.
Yeah, explode.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 92. Is this a smaller version of the anhydrous tanks we've been looking at?
Yes.
Okay. And again, we see
There it
Yes.
is right
Okay.
there.
the back end with the,
Here's the
describe
cage.
it for me again.
The relief valve. You're not actually looking at the relief valve in that picture. You're looking at a pipe that's welded onto the top of the tank to protect that relief valve. For the same reason, there's a cage over the valves on the front.
Okay. And that's what you were looking at in the last photograph too,
Yes.
correct? All right. And are most of the anhydrous tanks, well, let me ask you this. Have you dealt with the anhydrous tanks the whole time you worked at the Warner farm?
I believe I started filling them, and I think it was my second year there.
Okay. Did you deal with them in some sort of capacity while you worked there then?
Yes.
Would this be I'm back to Exhibit 90. This valve on the back, the cover that protects it, would that be typically the way that they're designed?
That was standard for all the tanks that I remember us having, yes.
Oh, I
And
think
you were
that's gonna have some
shown a
importance to
photograph
us.
of People's Exhibit 100, Tank 34. Is that
Oh, here we
accurate?
go.
Yes.
34. Show us
And
the tank.
well, let's first describe the front of that tank for me.
Thank you.
The front of the tank still has a cage over the valve. That is it's fairly standard. That is shaped a
here.
little bit more like a propane tank.
What do you mean?
So we did have tanks that were shaped like that. If I remember right, we had three basic kinds. We had the big ones. There was two front loads, and two top loads, and then we also we had some taller ones that were more barrel shaped. We also had some more that were more torpedo shaped, a little smaller in diameter, a little longer in length.
Okay. So let's look at the back of this Tank 34. And can you describe the back of that for me?
It appears as though it has a different cover over the relief valves.
And have you seen a cover like that on the anhydrous tanks that you've come into contact with over the years?
I did not remember having a cover on any of our tanks like that.
Oh, what did Dale do? Some practice welding over in that area? That's the piece of metal that he got, y'all. Oh my gosh, I'm like a real juror putting things together. Remember, he left one of the shops, and I'm like, what is that big old piece of metal that he has in his hand? Ha. Oh, tickety. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. Oh my. Yep. Now I understand why they showed us that. Now I get it. Good job,
Pardon me, we approach.
Okay, they are approaching. I think they're going to take a little break here. We're going to zippity doo-dah past all of this mess.
We'll take a 5-minute recess here and come back and continue with.
All righty, let me get us to the next portion. I knew when I checked on this, there was a lot of security camera footage. Like the whole day was security camera footage. And I thought, well, I'm excited to do this. Oh, the real Emily. I'm pretty sure I saw the weld that Dale created on the side of this anhydrous tank. And I don't think it's anything to be proud of. My dad was a welder, and that was one of the things he was so sad when he got a pacemaker. He could no longer weld anymore. And so I have seen plenty of welds in my day, and I have seen good ones and I've seen bad ones. And Dale's, I'm not impressed. Just saying. All right, let's get to the witness. Come on. Zippity doo dah, zippity.
A few more questions for you, Mr. Boyd. I'm going to show you some still images from the surveillance footage that we watched.
Oh boy.
To see if you identified any of the items. I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 38. First off, we only see half of a body. Do you recognize that person?
It appears to be Dale.
Okay, and that was based on also watching the surveillance footage?
Yes.
All right, and what does it appear he's carrying?
He has grinding discs and a corded grinder.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 43. We saw it in the video, the surveillance footage. This is going to be approximately 1:15 p.m. Did you see the item that was taken from that surveillance?
That's the big old piece of metal.
From the back wall there?
Yes.
That would be a chain.
Okay.
Oh, no, it was a different time he took it.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 44. This is at 3:12 p.m. And this is the new shop, correct?
Yes.
All right, and I'm just going to zoom in here to, you see this big green
Toolbox.
toolbox? Yes. Okay, what is directly to the left of that?
That would be a welder.
And is that because, what do you recognize in there?
So you can see the stinger or the lead that's on the front of it. You can see the color and the shielding gas bottle on the back of it.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit
Question
50
of the day, Elizabeth.
that I asked you in the surveillance footage if you recognize that item. Here's a still image of that. First, do you recognize the bottom half of that body?
Yes.
And who is
Like
that?
the
That's Dale.
disc.
Okay. Now, can you tell what that item is in his hand?
It appears that he has grinding or cutting discs of some kind in his hand.
I'm going to take you back to Exhibit 56. Again, this is the new shop. 6:43 p.m. on the 25th. I'm going to zoom into the
Welder's moved. It's now in front of the green toolbox.
Green toolbox. I'm calling that a toolbox. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Okay. And the item that you described as a welder that was sitting to the left of the toolbox, is that item there any longer?
It is not next to the toolbox. It's sitting in front of the toolbox, and you're viewing the side of it instead of the front of it.
All right. And is that the item that you identified as being in the
Yes.
front of the JCB? Okay. And we see the back of somebody walking away. Do you
Yes.
recognize that person?
It appears to be Dale.
During the course of your employment for the Warners, did Dale ever have to write you any notes or leave you any instructions or do anything that you
This is going to
had
go
to
to
read
the
his handwriting?
From time to time, in the fall, we would take grain tickets. Also, if he happened to be the one that scaled out an anhydrous tank, either for himself or the farm, we would still weigh it and keep track of it. So yes, I've seen his handwriting. Yes.
Okay. And I showed you certain exhibits that were certain handwriting examples, correct?
Yes.
I don't want to say examples, certain notebook pages or loose leaf papers. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. And those were items that were taken from the farm in October of 2021. And did you observe, well, let me approach the witness, Your Honor. I've got exhibits 179 through 190, and we have it situated to something, so I'm not sure. Okay.
We're going to zippity doo dah past him identifying this because
179 through 190 that he's reviewing. Lined papers with writing on them and some loose leaf blank papers with writing on them. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
And some of them appear to be screenshots of map locations. Is that also accurate?
That is correct.
And there was handwriting on those documents. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you recognize the handwriting?
Yes, it appears to. Yes,
And whose handwriting is that?
that appears to be Mr. Warner's.
Okay. I'm going to also hand you people's exhibits 191, 192, and 193, and have you look at them.
zippity doo dah again here.
Just
I'm going to stop you real quick, Mr. Boyd. 191
that one.
have you had the opportunity to look at that before?
Yes.
Okay, describe the front page for me. What is that?
Notebooks.
Okay. And what type of notebook? What color is it?
The top one is black.
All right. And then when you flip through the pages, do the contents have handwriting in them?
Yes.
Okay. And are you familiar with that handwriting?
Yes.
And whose handwriting is that?
It appears to be Dale's.
Okay. 192. Can you tell me what the front page of that item is?
It's a black notebook.
Okay. A different black notebook than the first one?
It appears, yes. Yes, it appears to be a different black notebook.
All right. And can you kind of flip through the pages on that one?
I think his relationship was close with his four
And you've looked
children.
at that before?
Yes.
And do you recognize that handwriting?
Yes.
And whose handwriting is that?
It's Dale's.
I'm going to have you look at exhibit 193. And what's the front of that look like?
It's a notebook,
Okay, color.
pink.
Okay, can I have you flip through that? And you looked at that previously?
Yes.
And do you recognize the writing?
Yes.
And whose handwriting is that?
It appears to be Dale's.
Handwriting is one of those things, like all of my employees, I could tell you immediately when I see something, whether whose handwriting it is. I feel like that's
I
one
have
of those
no
things
additional
that's
questions for Mr. Boyd
unique.
at this time.
Oh boy, poor Mr. Boyd.
Okay, it is close to noon, so we are going to be breaking for lunch. We'll resume at 1:30 p.m. again.
They take an hour and a half lunch, y'all. This is why we are going to be able to continue watching this trial in 3 hours every evening and on Saturdays, because this live stream was 5 3/4 hours, and we will see 3 hours of it. I've got to get to our next spot here. I don't think there's anything that comes up until later. Let me see what this is about. I think it just shows us. I don't think anything is actually happening. And please, for the love of all things holy,
You may be seated.
can we all collectively keep our fingers crossed that McSnarky Pants attorney Shart yourself is not the one that has to, or that ends up doing the cross-examination for this lovely man? He does not deserve it.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready to resume. Mr. Boyd, I will just remind you that you are still in the
no, I can already see.
Good afternoon, Mr. Boyd. My name is Mary Chartier. I represent Mr. Warner. Congratulations on your engagement.
Thank
I wanted to start off with that. And then I
She-
also want to start off with the work that you did on the Warner property. So you said you worked there for roughly 4 years.
That's correct.
Did you work there full time or was it part time?
I was more than full time.
So if we looked at a week, would it change because you talked about planting season, harvesting season,
No less than 70, 80 hours a week.
all year long?
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, that is a lot.
That's
Okay. And is that 5 days a week, 7 days a week?
6 off season.
He's like, ma'am, I busted hump for these people. How dare you ask me if I worked part-time for them? Get her, Ivan, get her.
5.5, somewhere in there, 5.5 to 6 off season, and pretty much 7 days a week in spring planting and fall harvest.
So if we're talking about April 25th, 2021, that's a Sunday. Is that in one of the planting or harvesting? I assume it's not harvesting. But
We were starting to get into planting season where we were getting things ready and filling tanks and getting fertilizer applied.
could you come onto the property when you needed to work? Or, for example, you were working on your personal truck on that
Yes.
Sunday, correct?
That is correct.
Were there any sort of restrictions on when you could enter?
No.
And when you did that work, how closely were you working with Mr. Warner? So if you were working 70 to 80 hours a week, roughly what percentage are you working sort of side by side with him?
Less than 10% of the time, I would say.
So fair to say you don't know what he's doing in terms of personal knowledge when you're not with him.
No.
Now,
What an awful question.
during your
Is that a
time
yes
working
or a
with
no?
Mr. Warner, how often did you hear him get angry?
I can once I heard him yell. That is all in 4 years.
And was that with an employee on the farm?
That is correct.
And was that someone who had done something
They
wrong?
absolutely deserved it. Yes.
They deserved it. Did Mr. Warner then apologize after yelling at a later on in the day?
Yes.
Would you describe Mr. Warner as being laid back?
Yes.
Would you describe him as someone who doesn't fly off the handle?
I would describe him as yes, someone who doesn't fly off the handle, who has most everything calculated out. Yes.
And someone who doesn't let his temper get the best of him?
That would be a fair assertion. Yes.
I love how this gentleman answered that question. We got to hear that again. Oh.
Describe him as someone who doesn't fly off the handle.
I would describe him as yes, someone who doesn't fly off the handle, who has most everything calculated out. Yes.
And
That part. Oh, she didn't. Yes, the real Emily. I believe they are trying to point the finger at anybody that could just waltz on the property and take Dee's life. That's what I think the defense's approach is the Saudi defense. Some other dude did it. The problem is they're going to need to find a specific person. You can't have 4 or 5 different Saudis.
someone who doesn't let his temper get the best of him.
That would be a fair assertion. Yes.
Thank you. Now, as to your work, you talked about a number of different things you did, from driving truckloads to filling anhydrous tanks. And I want to focus on the anhydrous tanks. So if we're looking at your workload, what portion of it related to the anhydrous tanks?
It varied day to day and week to week. In the season where we were doing that, if I came back, I was done trucking. I come back in the afternoon. I got whatever field I was working or whatever I was done doing. I had mentioned Jim Hawkins. He also filled tanks. So he would fill them during the day to keep everything rolling. And then when I would get back, if we had any empties, which we usually did, I would fill them before I went home.
So you said to keep everything rolling. Are people coming to the property every day to get anhydrous tanks?
We had very few that came to the farm to get them. We had a driver that would take those tanks out to the customer's field, and then he would bring back empties with him.
So someone on the farm, so if I'm a farmer, I just want to make sure I understand, I would put in an order for an anhydrous tank?
Yes.
And then someone on the farm would deliver that tank to somebody?
That is correct.
And then they would take back an empty tank?
Yes.
And that process would continue as long as the farmer wanted that?
That's correct.
But you said there were a few people who came on the property to get their tank. Anyone in particular you can think of?
I may be slightly mistaken in that. If I remember right, the only ones that really came to get fertilizer from the farm was partridges, and they came to get liquid fertilizer, which is a different product.
What about the Hardys? Did they ever come to pick up their anhydrous tank?
I believe that Hardys did come, and I believe they usually filled their own tanks and weighed them.
Okay.
And just a reminder, in case you all have forgotten, because we've slept a couple times since we visited this particular trial, the Hardys are Dee's siblings, is who they are referring to when she is asking about the Hardys. So they're not just some random family in Adrian, Tecumseh, whatever area you want to call this.
So great. Thank you for that clarification. So if I'm a farmer, you would fill the tank for me, and then it would either be delivered, or in the rare instance you said of the partridges, they would come pick it up. But the Hardys, they were able to fill up their own tank.
Yes, I believe so.
And then how would that work? So you've got that full tank of anhydrous ammonia. Was it weighed before it left the property?
Yes, that's correct.
And I think you still have that pointer up there. Would you point to where that scale is?
That scale is this long red rectangle right here next to the office.
And so would a truck pull up on there and put the tank on to be weighed?
Yes.
And then it gets delivered. Then when the tank comes back, is it weighed again to see how much product goes out?
Yes.
And then that's how someone is billed?
Yes, that's correct.
And so again, if I'm the driver, I'm doing that for a particular farm, but the Hardys are doing that themselves.
Yes.
Now, what about other work that you did on the tanks? Were you involved with any sort of maintenance of the tanks?
Nothing really beyond flat tires or bad wheel bearings.
What about, and the tires, are those on the sort of the runners?
Yes.
So because the tanks don't have wheels, correct?
That is correct.
So what are they placed on?
They're placed on a running gear.
Okay, they're placed on running gear. So if there was a flat tire on the running gear, you would take care of that.
Yes.
But you weren't involved in any of the mechanics of the tank themselves?
No.
Do you know about how long those tanks are?
I would say the short ones were probably 12-ish foot, and the long ones, the big ones we had on the farm, were maybe 15 or 16.
Do you know how much they weighed?
I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood, somewhere between 6 empty and maybe 12 or 15,000 pounds loaded.
Okay, so when you say 6, you don't mean 6
6,000.
pounds. You mean
Yes.
how many pounds?
6,000.
6,000.
I think it's somewhere in there. It's been a long time since
Oh, no, that gives us a good idea. And do you know what the tanks are made of?
Steel.
Steel. Do you know how thick that steel is?
It should be probably it's at least 1/8 to 1/4 inch steel.
I would think so too.
Are there precautions that you take when you're working with anhydrous ammonia?
Yes.
Okay, what are those?
You want to wear gloves. You want to wear eye goggles, something to protect your eyes. And you always want to make sure that you are upwind of where you're filling.
So you're filling them outside.
Yes, that's correct.
Why do you want to be upwind?
Because it will. It's dangerous. It's very cold. It'll burn your lungs.
What about
hazardous material, lady?
is it flammable?
I don't believe that it is flammable.
So
We have
if
to
we
look
look
at
at
the
some of the tanks, which we'll
thing on the
look
side.
at next week as well, are there any sort of caution signs on the tanks?
I believe that there is. There's the green placards.
And what does that? So what does that tell someone if they see that?
Oh, I can't remember what the green placards are. I'm sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. So you talked about the precautions you would take. So you would wear gloves, you would wear eye goggles, you would do this outside, so you were upwind of it, so you don't breathe it in. Anything else that you can think of?
I mean, not really. No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How many tanks do you think that you filled in the 4 years you worked there?
Oh goodness. How many total for the farm, or how many do you think I filled in total as far as in all those years?
How about in all those years?
I would say north of 100.
And then anhydrous ammonia, is it the sort of thing where, for instance, you fill up the tank and then if it spills on the ground, you're fine with that? Or
No.
okay, why not?
Again, it is. I can't remember the word for it. It scars your lungs.
So
That's what it does.
it's dangerous?
It is dangerous. Yes.
Do you know, does it cause any sort of like staining or anything like that?
I would assume that it would burn you quite terribly. I wore gloves. I never came into skin to skin contact with it.
Good. Sounds like a good plan.
Oh my, she's
So we talked about you worked
Ugh.
frequently 7 days a week. On Sundays, how often would you be there?
In season, I want to say that was, I can remember having the parts for that truck for at least 3 weeks.
Okay.
And I had not had a spare moment to work on it. It was fairly regular to work on Sundays. Usually, it would be a little later, slightly later in the day. It wouldn't necessarily be 7. It would be 8, maybe by the time I got there. And then I would leave sometime in the afternoon or evening.
Now you, it sounds like you worked a lot there.
I did.
You
She just
talked
rolls all
about
over me.
a little bit about welding on the property. How frequently did you weld?
Maybe once a month.
Once a month. And what would you weld?
Brackets. If something was broke on a truck, a mud flap, some, little stuff like that. Nothing huge, no big projects.
Ms. Saylor, would you pull up Exhibit 150, which is our page 192? So it sounds like you know a little bit about the items that you would use to weld. Is that accurate, Mr. Boyd?
Yes. Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's all right. So while we're waiting for that to pull up, I'll ask you the question. So you talked about, you thought that Mr. Warner had an angle grinder in his hand. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then you also referenced on the shelf you saw a plasma cutter.
Yes.
And Ms. Saylor is working on the technology issue now. So, but I'm going to keep asking you questions. And if you need to see the photo, I know she'll get it to work. What is it for someone who is not a welder? What does an angle grinder do?
An angle grinder is used for cleaning the surfaces for, it's basically a giant hard wheel of sandpaper that is attached to an electric motor. And that's what you use to clean paint off in order to weld. If you don't clean the paint off before you weld, you won't be able to make an electrical connection, which is how welding works. And you wouldn't be able to weld.
So an angle grinder, so if I'm looking at an item that I want to weld, well, actually, do you mind pointing out there, since we've got here the plasma grinder there?
The plasma cutter.
Oh, excuse me, the plasma cutter.
Is the gray one there next to the blue barrel.
Can you zoom in on that, Ms. Saylor? Thank you. So that's the plasma cutter.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, great. So we'll get to that in a minute. So the angle grinder. So if I want to weld something, I would use an angle grinder to take the paint off, and then I would weld it. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And then what about a plasma cutter? What is its purpose?
Plasma cutter cuts steel.
A plasma cutter cuts steel.
Cleanly, quickly. It's basically a faster version of a cutting torch.
Thank you.
Yup.
Now you referred to a load barn. Would you point that on the map for us? Or the spray barn?
The spray barn.
Okay.
Yes, that would
Spray
be
barn
number
is
7
where
over here.
everything.
Did you also, or
Gone
did you also
down.
hear people refer to that as a load barn?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone has sort of these unique little variances in their buildings, and I just wanted to make sure. So 7 is the spray barn, but it's also referred to as the load barn.
Yes.
Is that accurate? And then you indicated that tanks would be stored at the Carson property, the Paragon property, and on the Munger property. Is that correct? How, it sounds like every day there are tanks sort of being moved around on the property. Is that accurate?
Depending on the weather, yes.
And then more than one tank at times?
Yes.
We haven't seen him move a tank.
When I listened to your testimony and you were identifying the surveillance videos and things that you watched and where you thought you saw Mr. Warner, I had that you saw him, correct me if I'm wrong, on the Kubota, which is the smaller sort of ATV vehicle, right?
Yes.
The JCB,
Yes.
which is the one with the scoop, the sprayer, that's the green one.
That's correct.
The tractor with the corn planter, that's the red one.
Yes.
And then the forklift, that has those 2 little prongs sticking
Yes.
out, right? Did I miss
He
anything
was
else?
busy.
No, but I would like to add that I don't believe that I identified Mr. Warner in the Versatile, although that is a tractor that he almost exclusively was the only one that used.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification. So you saw that, but you didn't identify him as driving
I
it.
did not see him identify him in the tractor.
Y'all, this woman trying to be all sweet and saccharine like with her cross-examination, I don't know what it is hitting in me, but there is some carnal instinct with this woman that I literally want to climb through my monitor and smack her. Am I the only person that finds it unbelievably annoying? It is so disingenuous. I find it not helpful, and it's rolling all over me. So I apologize for all of my complaints about her, but good grief. All right.
Thank you. Now, anything else about your work that you think is significant that I have not asked you about?
I don't believe so.
Okay, terrific. I want to get to Sunday, April 25th, 2021. You said you got there in the morning. I know we're going back a number of years, so roughly maybe 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere.
Yes.
And you came, did your brother come with you?
No, he drove separately.
He drove separately. Now, at some point, Mr. Warner comes out and chats with you, correct?
Yes.
And he lets you know that Ms. Warner is missing.
Yes.
And he also says that he was concerned that she was missing, correct?
That is correct.
You, excuse me, when you were on the property, you just went on the property. You didn't like go and tell him, hi, I'm here or anything
No.
like that, correct?
No,
You just went to work on your truck.
that's correct.
And he didn't know your brother was coming either, correct?
I don't believe so, no.
That day, is it fair to say that everyone was in and out of there all the time?
Yes.
And a couple of drivers came in to get trucks. There were just people coming and going.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. No one told you you need to leave or anything like that, correct?
No.
At some point in time, you go to the load barn, which is the spray barn. That's number 7, right?
Yes.
And you are down there for roughly 13 minutes.
Yes.
And at that point, you're speaking with Mr. Warner, correct?
I don't remember.
Would listening to your interview help you remember?
Possibly, but I don't remember that from. There was many times that I would go down to that barn over 40. I couldn't pick out.
No, and I get that. We are in 2026. I am asking you something almost 5 years ago in April of 2021. I can let you listen to your interview if you would like, but do you dispute that you went down to the load barn and chatted with him?
No.
And that you assisted him with putting trash in the bucket of the JCB?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't have. I can't find the word for that. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't contest that. No.
Right. And so I think, I've got the interview that you gave to the police. And so you're not contesting that that's you on the interview saying that, correct?
No.
Thank you. And again, if you want to listen to it, you certainly can. And then on that day, the entire day you were there, you don't remember seeing Mr. Warner with a tank at all, correct?
I do not. No.
And you don't remember seeing Mr. Warner doing anything with the tank, correct?
I do not.
I don't have any problem, the real Emily, with her doing her job. And I feel that is not the issue for me at all. There's a tremendous amount of evidence that seems to be piling up against Dale so far, circumstantial evidence. My issue that I have is I am a Michigander, and her accent and tone in the way that she speaks is rolling all over me. The other lady that gets up, I don't have any issues with her whatsoever, but this hard, nasal, disingenuous way or tone that I just So I don't have a problem with her defending Dale. Do your job, absolutely. So I just wanted to clarify that's not what my issue is. It is literally her demeanor.
On that day, April 25th, 2021, that Sunday, you did not see anything out of the ordinary on the Munger property, correct?
No.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Yes, that's correct. I did not see anything out of the ordinary.
Ask better questions.
To be fair, I wasn't looking for anything out of the ordinary. It
You're
was
busy
just
working.
another day.
Just another day. Great. Thank you, sir.
Oh boy, you know what this means?
Oh, did you already unhook it? Oh, he just unhooked it.
Oh, maybe not quite yet. We're going to see about redirect first. Oh, I just get so excited when I see that sheriff walk up there.
I believe you discussed in 2021 anhydrous tanks would be delivered to other farms. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And who would do those deliveries?
Levi.
Who?
What's Levi's last name? Levi Sealer. Leroy. Levi.
It's like
Mr.
that's
Sealer.
Okay.
5 years ago. I don't remember.
And did anybody else, to your knowledge, move those tanks? Deliver the tanks? I apologize.
I would on occasion if he wasn't there. We had enough orders for me to do so.
Okay. Do you know if Jim Hawkins delivered those too?
I would assume that if I wasn't there, yes.
Okay.
I
but you
don't know for a
sure.
fact.
Okay.
No.
All right. And did you ever see Dale moving tanks around the farm?
Very rarely, unless he was hooking up to go to the field with our own tanks to apply on our own ground.
Okay. Is that something he would typically say, hey, I need you to go do this to an employee?
Usually, I'm going to go. For instance, I'm going to go up and I'm going to apply on the Point property. Can you bring 2 or 3 tanks up there, and then I should be good.
Okay. And I believe you stated that you never saw the defendant let his temper get the best of him. Is that accurate?
No. Yes, that is accurate.
All right. And were you around him all the time?
Maybe an
Less than
hour
10%.
or two cumulative over the week.
Very small amount. If you're working 70 to 80 hours and you see someone for less than an hour.
We talked a little bit about
that
the
ain't much.
anhydrous tanks and how they're dangerous. If I have an anhydrous tank and it's empty, what does it mean to bleed it off?
I mean that you would open up the one of the valves in order to take the pressure out of it so that it was at the same atmospheric pressure as the environment.
Okay, so now the tank is empty and it's been bled off. Is there anything dangerous about that now?
I would believe that there would still be
Residue.
a very small amount in the bottom of the tank that's liquid.
Okay, but it would no longer be what it was when it was pressurized, correct?
It wouldn't be as dangerous, no.
Okay. And you indicated exposure to a small amount could cause the lungs to scar. Is that accurate?
Yes.
That would cause coughing?
Coughing, shortness of breath, inability to catch your own breath,
Okay.
and in severe cases, I mean, it will kill you in a large enough amount.
In a large amount. Okay.
It's-
Now you indicated that you had been working a lot at that point in time, but the 25th was your planned day off. Is that?
Yes,
And nobody expected you on the farm that day, correct?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay.
But to be fair, there was not very many days that I didn't at least drive through.
Okay. I believe, so on the surveillance footage, we see the defendant in his uniform. Can you describe the top he had on for me?
The shirt,
Yes.
it would have been a gray war egg uniform shirt,
All right. And was that, do you remember if that was short sleeve, long sleeve?
short sleeve.
It's okay, Requiem.
Let me ask you this. If you weld with a short sleeve shirt on, what's going to happen?
You are going to get something called welder burn, which is kind of like sunburn.
Okay. And how soon after you get this sunburn would that appear?
Within hours, if you were welding in the afternoon, by the evening time, you would experience it.
Okay. And
Prolonged exposure.
okay. And then, so it could be anywhere from hours to,
I would say you'd have to be welding for at least an hour,
okay.
pretty continuously in order to get weld burn. Like,
What if you were, well, let me ask you this. Let me show you People's Exhibit 74. What does that appear to be to you?
Objection. He's not an expert on welding burns. He's talked about his own experiences, but to be able to look at a photograph and say one way or the other, I think is out of this witness's purview.
I think he can testify based on observing his
Personal
own
experience.
experiences, as well as observing the welding gloves that were taken from, well, the welding gloves that were pictured on the farm that day, Your Honor.
What you going to do, Judge Olsaver?
I'm going to sustain the objection. I don't think there's a sufficient basis for him to offer an opinion on this issue.
You talked about the angle grinder a little bit, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
I think the effect is there regardless because the jury saw it. Again, they know. Thank you, Requiem.
I'm going to show you people's Exhibit 38. Is that the item you were talking about?
That is correct. Yes.
All right. And that item can also cut through steel, correct?
That is correct.
Objection leading.
I'll rephrase it. Can that item cut through steel?
Yes.
Objection.
You indicated that on Sunday, April 25th, that when you did talk to the defendant, he was concerned that his wife was missing.
Yes.
What does that mean?
He had formed an opinion of what he thought had happened to her. He said that she must have left. I can remember him telling me that she had taken some items with her. He noticed that they were missing from the house, and I would say he was visibly worried about where she might be or if she might be okay.
Did he express that in words to you, that he was concerned about where she might be?
Yes.
Interesting because he wasn't in any of the body cam. None was he concerned.
And several times after that.
That's
You
super
indicated that
interesting.
you believe you assisted the defendant in putting some trash into the JCB back by the spray barn
Yes.
on Sunday the 25th, correct?
Yes.
I'm going to show you People's Exhibit 174. Is that what is this?
That is the end of that spray loadout barn.
Okay. And where is the trash container? Well, what trash would you be taking out?
So like everything else in the world that we live in, chemicals are packaged in several different packages. So your jugs of chemical will be packed in boxes. The boxes will be packed in crates. The crates will be put, it's all saran wrapped on a pallet.
Is there a dumpster outside of the spray barn?
No.
Is there a dumpster anywhere out here?
No.
Okay.
Generally huck all the boxes off to the side somewhere behind the walk door. And then when we got to it, or the pile got too big to contain, when we had about a bucket load, we'd take it out and dispose of it.
Don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't yet. Leave me some DNA, folks. Oh my, sippity doo-dah. Nothing further. Uh-oh, we've got
Mr. Boyd, you indicated that an angle grinder can cut through steel. What's better to cut through steel, an angle grinder or a plasma cutter?
It depends on the application, but would be quicker to cut large amounts of metal with a plasma cutter.
Thank you. I have no additional questions.
Thank you. Oh, please tell me we're getting to the juror question. Oh, and there's another one. Oh, it's going to be like a double Christmas. Is she redirecting?
The angle grinder versus the plasma cutter. Is there one that's going to give me a straighter cut?
The straighter cut would probably be the angle grinder.
Aha. Well, that's important.
How long would it take to cut through
Recross.
about 1/8 of steel with an angle grinder?
It depends on the length, but it would not take very long with either device. One of them is melting it, and one of them is cutting it.
And what's not very long to you?
For instance, it would take 5 seconds to cut a chunk a foot long. In half, it would probably take closer to a minute and a half to cut it with an angle grinder.
So an angle grinder is going to take longer.
Yes,
And
time.
does it depend on how fast it's going?
they're all pretty much a set speed.
All set a set speed so you don't adjust the speed?
No,
But the quicker of the two is going to be the plasma cutter.
yes.
No additional questions. Thank you.
Exactly, Requiem. That's exactly what the issue is. She's trying to push one narrative and it ain't got legs. Is she thinking of redirecting?
Questions, Your Honor.
We have several questions from jurors if counsel would approach.
Oh, there are several questions. Oh boy, goody gumdrops. Oh, every day of this trial, it's like getting little Christmas gifts. Some of them are just little stocking stuffers, and others are full-blown, fantastic gifts. Several. Yeah, it's taken them a while to go through all of them. Did he just take another one up there? Oh, he did. Oh, I love this. Oh, my. Another one. Oh, boy. Oh, I'm so excited. Oh, you can imagine me as a mother with my child. I would get this. I still get this excited about Christmas. But oh my goodness, when my son was younger. Oh my gosh, my kitchen sink is in. I'm so excited for that too. It's a fancy one. Mr. Demeanor just texted me that picture, so I had to share it with all of you. What are we doing here?
All right, Mr. Boyd, one of the questions is about a prior interview, so we're going to have you listen to that, the relevant section of that interview.
For the record, can I please have you let me know the date of the interview that you're having him listen to?
Sure. So that interview was.
Thank you.
I can
I'm
tell
so
you,
excited.
the time
I
was
know.
45:36. The interview was with Detective Juror and Detective Singleton. I think it was 8/23/2024, but I'm going to confirm that.
I'm going to zippity doo dah us past this because I think he has to listen to it with headphones on because they actually do it the right way in Michigan courts. And so you don't have to hold your head down by the laptop. And I don't think we all need to watch him listen to his interview.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Boyd, so the question related to what you just listened to is, was there something said by Mr. Boyd in his original interview about loading trash in the JCB?
Yes. I did in that interview say that I remembered fairly certainly that I helped him load trash out of that barn into the bucket of the JCB.
Okay.
All right. I don't know how you want to do follow-up questions, if you have any, if you want to do them question by question, or if you want to wait.
I'd say maybe all the questions, the way I think we've normally been doing it.
I'd like to go question by question.
Oh, okay. Sure.
So that interview where you indicated you helped him take trash out was in 2024, correct? August of 2024?
Yes.
And you were asked if you remembered anything specifically from the 25th, correct?
Yes.
And did you really have a memory of 3.5 years prior?
It's my best guess that's what happened. I don't for certain remember that. I am 60 to 70% sure that that's what I did. It was a common occurrence. You know, if I went down there and Dad was loading up trash, I'd help him load it.
Okay, so if you were told you were by the spray barn that day, that would have been your best guess?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Boyd, when you were interviewed, you said you were 85 to 90% sure that's what happened, correct?
Yes.
No further questions. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Okay, so the next question is, any chemicals on the farm that would cause burns or red skin if exposed?
Several, depending on the length of exposure to them. I mean, most fertilizers are not real good stuff. They do have the ability to have reactions with the skin. They're chemicals. The worst one by far is the anhydrous. That is the one that's going to give you the most adverse reaction with the least amount of exposure.
Fair enough.
You were exposed to a chemical that caused burns to your body. How long would that exposure or that take to show?
With regard to anhydrous,
I just would ask that it be based on his personal knowledge. So if this has happened
What she's
to him, he
asking
says it,
for.
or if he saw it happen to someone, rather than just speculating about this, because he's not an expert in this.
no, and you're right. I'm
Okay,
not.
so I'm just going to ask you not to speak any further. Ms. Wise, do you have any response to that?
I'll rephrase the question. Have you personally observed any burns that you know to be from chemical burns?
Yes.
The chemicals that you just described?
Yes.
Okay, and who was that? Who did you observe that on?
On myself. I mean, we would handle chemicals, and from time to time, I would get a little on my forearm.
What chemical did you burn yourself with?
I believe it was liquid 28, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
And did that cause blistering or anything?
Did not cause blistering. I actually was covered head to toe in it, and it wasn't quite as bad as a sunburn, but it was definitely very itchy, very uncomfortable, very red.
Did it have a specific line, like where it was? That's what I
have no
want to know.
questions on that topic. Thank you.
To your knowledge, how often would anhydrous tanks from the manufacturer be modified by employees or people at the farm?
First off, we have to address this because the real Emily Ross is saying she knows. And I think she is talking about the anhydrous. So Girl, tell me all about it in the chat. And I'm going to back this up in the meantime because I was completely missing the juror question because I was fascinated with the fact that you would have the answer for us all. So let me get back to the real things here, and we'll revisit the burning of anhydrous.
To your knowledge, how often would anhydrous tanks from the manufacturer be modified by employees or people at the farm?
To my knowledge, maybe one or two a year. I mean, we didn't do a ton of maintenance if something was broken, but that really wasn't my duty. That was usually done by Jim, if I remember right, as far as maintenance on the tanks.
So when you said maintenance on the tanks, I think I heard you say, is it Jim? Is that correct?
Yes.
Jim Hawkins?
Yes.
Okay, so you wouldn't know anything about maintenance or altering tanks?
Nothing more than changing tires and wheel bearings.
Thank you.
Do you know, were the tanks purchased from the manufacturer or were some of them purchased used?
I believe it was a mix, but I wouldn't be able to comment really
Keep
on
me
that.
guessing.
Okay, thank you.
Does the plasma cutter need gas to function or cut?
No. Plasma cutters work off of, so you would supply an air source, compressed air from an air compressor, as well as usually it's a 220 volt electrical current, and that's what it uses to cut.
No follow-up on that question, Your Honor.
No follow-up, thank you.
Does Jaron normally work in the spray barn?
Oh,
Only probably as much as I did, which was fairly limited.
oh, somebody's paying attention.
I don't believe that he even had knowledge of how to run the loadout system in that barn.
Oh,
So he would have been in there as
Oh.
much or less than me, to my knowledge.
Oh, I want to know what juror asked this question
When you
because
say you would have been in the spray barn as much or less than you, how often were you actually in that spray barn?
In season, maybe 2 to 3 times a week, maybe on, if we had a lot of customers that were doing liquid fertilizer application.
Thank you.
No follow-up, thank you.
Is it typical that Dale would spray on a day as windy as April 25th? And that's in reference to the tree moving in the camera.
oh, oh,
You are not supposed to, and it was not. It's not recommended. I don't. I was not around the farm when he usually sprayed, so I wouldn't have a whole lot of knowledge on that.
oh, this jury is smart.
No follow-up, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And so that is all of the questions. Can we excuse Mr. Boyd from his subpoena at this point?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Boyd, you are released. You're free to go. Or if you wanted to remain in the courtroom, you're able to do that now as well.
Okay, so I agree with Elizabeth. Yes, we're learning so much about welding. This is why I love to trial watch, because I learn about all kinds of different life matters that had I not been watching a trial, I would never, ever know anything about. I know more about DNA now than in DNA testing than I ever did before I started watching trials. So I agree, Elizabeth. It is wonderful to learn about specific aspects of life. And Requiem says exactly how I believe. That's why the weld on that tank looked crappy, because in my opinion, Dale had employees to do that type of work. He probably hadn't welded something like that in ages. In my opinion, just speculation on my part. I think that is a good deduction to make. And I think so too. Keep smiling. I think April is awfully early to have any crops in the ground in Michigan. May, I know I got married on tax day, and I lived in Michigan when I got married. That would have been April 15th. And that week we had the worst snow and ice, mostly ice storm of the entire winter season in the middle of April. So I don't think anyone would be wise in Michigan to be planting or seeding prior to May. So a lot of this stuff that they are talking about, or that Dale has talked about as far as spraying and taking care of these crops, I doubt there was anything in the ground to spray. Oh, yes, USMC and the mud from thawing. Yeah, it's just not, to me, I don't look at this time of year to be when you would be using your optimum time for planting and seeding. I am not a farmer. I have a family of farmers that had some farmland in Michigan, but I just know how the seasons are there. So, all right, I'm going to zippity doo dah us to the next person. Oh, maybe we're taking a break. Hold it. Oh, maybe the judge has something to say. Hang on.
Okay, so we had several questions that were not asked, and I believe with respect to all of these, the attorneys agreed that they should not be asked. So I just want an opportunity to read those into the record.
Oh, please.
The first is, most likely, what would Dale have used the grinder tool for?
Oh.
The next is it possible to reliably identify the individual who performed a weld based solely on its visual appearance?
Oh.
If yes, have you had an opportunity to inspect the weld on tank 34? And if yes, can you determine who welded tank 34?
Oh, these are really good questions.
The next is, on all the anhydrous tanks you've seen at the farm, have you ever seen another cover over the relief valves like the one on tank 34? Are those covers always factory or manufacturer installed? And the last is, have you ever noticed Dale and Dee argue? If so, did it ever turn physical?
Some of those were answered
Is that,
in the testimony.
accurate, Ms. Wise, Ms. Chartier?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And so with respect to the last question, we did decide that was a question I received early on in the testimony, and that it had been adequately covered. I think that's the only one of those that we had that issue with. All right, anything else we need to address on the record right now?
I think so too,
Just for the
USMC.
record that we did have a witness who appeared today that was going to testify this afternoon, Jason Gravel, and we have sent him home and asked him to return Tuesday morning at 9 a.m.
All right. Anything else then?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's take 5 or 10 minutes. We'll come back and proceed with the next witness.
Thank you.
Okay, let me get us zippity doo done to this last. I believe this is the last witness of the day. Here we go. Let me get my life going here. Ivan was a plethora of information. He might be my favorite witness
Good afternoon, Mr.
far.
Hawkins. Before you sit down, I'll ask you to raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth under penalty for perjury?
I do.
Okay, you can sit in that chair right there.
This will be witness 17.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hawkins.
Hello.
Could you please state your full name and spell it for the record?
James Edward Hawkins, JamesEdwardHawkins.
All right, thank you, sir. Do you work at the Munger property?
Yes, I do.
How long have you worked there? When did you start?
I started part-time in 2013 and went full-time in 2016.
Okay, and you've been full-time ever since?
Yes,
Okay. And on Monday, you go back to the farm to work?
I go back.
Requiem. I don't know if you are male or female, but Ivan is taken by the fantastic Zach Bach. So unless you are of the male persuasion, I don't think Ivan is going to be interested in you.
Back to work tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Yeah. Okay. Great. And is there one building in particular that you work in?
Yes, I work in the building that's on the west side of the house.
Okay. Do you see the map right behind you?
Yeah, that one right there.
Okay. And do you see a number on it?
Number 1.
Okay. And what do you call that building?
I
The
call that
old
chop
shop.
shop.
Okay. Are there two parts to that building?
Yes, there's an upper and a lower.
Okay. So you have to go down a ramp to get from one
Yes.
to the other? Okay. Are you in charge of the anhydrous tanks?
I am in charge of getting them ready to use.
Okay.
That's servicing and stuff like that.
Sure. Let me show you People's Exhibit 160. And ask you to look at the screen. Do you recognize those two white tanks?
Yeah, they're the mother tank and nurse tank.
Okay. And what do they have there? Those
A
for?
mother and a
Those
nurse.
are the stored anhydrous.
Okay. Do you have any idea how many gallons of anhydrous are in there?
The mother one, I believe, would probably be around 30,000 gallons.
Okay. And then the one to the right of the big one,
That's the nurse.
That's the nurse, okay. And if you are going to fill the anhydrous tanks that go out into the field, is this where you'd take them?
Yes,
And what would you do?
I'd take the tanks down there. I'd hook up the hoses to them. I'd open up the valves and fill them.
Okay. I'm showing you what's been marked as People's 96. Is this the a type of anhydrous tank that would go out in the field?
Yes,
All right, and I'm going to zoom up here. Do you see the red and yellow knobs?
yes.
Could you tell us what those are for?
The red one is to fill the tank. The yellow one is the vapor to expel the gases when you're filling the tank.
Okay. And where do the gases go?
It goes into the mother and nurse tank.
Okay, so it's kind of like a circle.
Yes.
Okay. And could you describe how you go about filling the tank?
You'd hook one of the hoses up to the red valve. And hook one up to the yellow valve.
Okay, right here. This is the red valve we're talking about.
Right, that's the fill valve.
Okay, and then right here's
The
the yellow
one's
one.
the vapor valve.
Okay, is there a hose that hooks up to that too?
Yes.
Okay.
And you slowly open up your anhydrous lines that go to it, and you slowly open up the valves until you get it until they're opened, and you turn the pump on and you fill them.
Okay, so the anhydrous lines are coming from the mother and the nurse tank.
Yes.
Okay, and then where do you open up the valve? Is that attached to the mother
No,
tank?
you got your two hoses that hook to that. You got two valves, one valve on each hose,
Okay,
and then you slowly open up the two valves on the tank,
okay, and then you turn on the pump.
then turn on the pump.
Okay, and then how do you know when it's enough?
When you're looking at the gauge when you're filling, and when they hit 85%, you stop.
Okay, and probably can't see the gauge very well, but you're saying there is a gauge on the tank?
Yes.
Okay, do you actually see it in that photo?
I can't see it in that photo.
Yeah, me neither. Okay,
It's got to be between the yellow and the red valve
right, it would be in this
on the
this
tank
area
itself.
right here, right?
Yeah, it'd be in between the two valves.
Yeah, okay, so that might be it right there, but in any case, so it gets to 85%, is that what you said? Or
Yes.
or is it 80?
85%.
Okay, and how does that get measured? Like, how does the gauge know that it's at 85?
It's got it senses the liquid coming up the tube on the bottom of the gauge.
Okay, so there's a tube that goes down from that gauge into the tank.
Yes.
All right, and does that tube have a name,
I don't know. It's just
as far as you know?
part of the gauge.
Okay,
This man's like,
all right.
I have
There's
no
one of
earthly
those
idea.
called the draw valve.
Yeah, the unload valve would be the one in the front. the red valve in the front underneath the,
So are you referring to this right here?
yes.
Okay, and what is that?
That is the unload valve. That's where you hook it up to your equipment and you open the valve, and that's what puts the anhydrous in the ground.
Okay, so you're out in the field, you've got this hooked up to the farm implement that you're towing this with, right? Is that
Yes.
yes? Okay. And that's where the anhydrous comes out and gets onto the ground.
Correct.
Okay. Now I want to direct your attention to Exhibit 90. Oops. Yes, Exhibit 90. All right, so I want you to look at the very left edge of this picture. You see a white little stack coming off the back of the anhydrous tank?
Yes.
Okay, do you know what that is?
That is a cover going over what I call the pop-off valve.
Okay, and what is the pop-off valve
When
there
the
for?
tank gets overpressurized, it'll blow that off.
Okay, and if you're anywhere near the tank, are you going to be able to tell that that has popped off?
Yeah, you see vapor and sometimes the liquid flowing up, coming out.
Okay, and if that happens, is it dangerous?
Is it dangerous? Not really, unless you're on it. But if you smell it, then it's not too bad.
Okay, and so what would you do if that were to pop off? What would you do to fix it or to address the problem?
It all depends if the tank was empty or full.
Okay, if it's empty, what do you do?
I'd change the valve.
You
I'd
just
change the pop off.
Okay, and if it was full?
And then I'd have to offload the tank in order to fix it.
And how do you offload the tank?
You hook up the two lines to the fill and
Send it
the
back to the mother tank or the nurse
vapor
tank.
valve, and you put it into another tank.
So you put it into just another field anhydrous tank?
That's empty.
Okay,
Yes.
and were the tanks always full, or were they sometimes empty, or how did that work? On the farm, I mean.
Usually, if I'm working on them, they're usually empty.
Okay. Now, if one of these field anhydrous tanks had a hole in it in the tank itself, would that tank be any good?
No, because it'll be leaking all the anhydrous out.
Okay, because you're trying to put pressure into it, right? Because you got that gauge. Is that correct?
Yes,
And and then the hole would be doing what?
it'd be leaking anhydrous out.
Okay. And if you had a tank like that had a hole in it, what would you do with it?
I'd put it out of service.
Okay. So you wouldn't use it anymore?
No,
You wouldn't try to fix it?
I'd try to fix it. It depends where it was leaking at.
Okay, but let's just say there's a real small hole on the actual tank itself. Do you think you could be able to fix that and get it back in service?
Yeah, one of the guys that were there could probably weld it up.
Okay. Would you be the guy that would say this is out of service and it needs to be fixed? Is that your duties?
Yeah, if it had a hole in the tank, yes.
Okay. Or what if something else was wrong with it? Would that be something that you would?
No, it all depends what was wrong. More than likely, I'd end up fixing the tank if it was a valve or gauge.
That's
or
not what he's
pop-off.
getting at.
Okay. If something is wrong with the tank, do you put a tag on it that says it's out of service?
I haven't.
Okay, you've never done that?
I'm sorry, did he answer with a yes or no?
Oh, I thought he did.
No.
Thank you, Honor.
Uh,
Have you ever cut the end off one of these
No.
field anhydrous tanks?
No.
Can you think of any good reason that you would do that?
Objection, speculation.
He's the person that is over these tanks.
that's what his
He
job
knows what they
was.
do and how they work. I think you could answer whether it makes sense to cut the end off of one.
I would overrule that.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Have
Judge.
you ever cut the end off of
No.
a tank? Would you ever do that?
No.
When the tanks were not at the Munger property, did you have a storage place for them?
Yes.
And where?
We had a barn on Carson Road that was a rental property that we stored them in, and in a place on Paragon that we
Okay.
stored them in.
And who was the person? Were you part of the crew that got them back and forth?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. And were you the main person, or was there other people that were working on this more than you?
On bringing them back and forth, it was usually Randy that did them.
Okay. Now in 2020 and 2021, so you had been there on part-time since 2013, full-time since 2016. I want to ask you about 2020 and 2021. How was the anhydrous business doing at that time?
It was slow.
Okay. So was there any pressure to get tanks that might be something wrong with them back into service? Do you understand what I'm asking?
No.
Did you need extra tanks at that
No.
time? Okay. Did you have plenty to go around?
Yes.
All right. I'm showing you People's 100. So I'm looking at the back end of that tank. What is at the back end of that tank right underneath the sign where it says Farmer's Antique? Can you see that?
Oh, let me fix this.
Yeah, that angle bracket is on top.
Right. And do you know what would be underneath of that?
That would probably be to pop off if there was something under it.
Okay. So at the front, you have this. Okay. Do you know what that is just by looking at it?
That's a guard
Okay.
in case it rolls over.
And what would be underneath that guard?
That's where your valves are.
Right. Okay. So showing you People's 101. Those the valves that you're talking about?
There'd be a red and two reds and a yellow.
Okay. How about that one right there? This is People's 104, by the way.
I haven't seen that.
You've never seen that?
No.
Okay.
Oh, that's even interesting.
Have you ever, to your knowledge, ever seen a tank that you dealt with that had that type of angle over where the pop-off valve would be?
No, usually most of them are either open or they had the round cover on them.
Okay. Did you ever paint an anhydrous tank?
No,
If the pop-off valve came off and the tank was actively leaking or venting, would there be any reason to take it indoors to work on it as it's actively leaking?
no,
Why not?
because it would be an enclosed area and the vapors would probably end up being too bad, and you'd have the anhydrous leaking on the floor too.
Okay. Now, did your duties take you in the spray barn at all?
Yes,
What would you do in the spray barn?
I'd take the JCB down there and pick up all Dale's empty cans from spraying.
Okay. Is the JCB also known as a front end loader?
Yes,
Okay. During spraying season, how often would you go up there and get the empty bottles?
quite often.
Like more than once a week?
Once, twice a week.
Okay.
Not
Depends how
several
busy
times
he
a
was.
day.
When you were up there in the spray barn, did you ever see the extra parts for the anhydrous tanks in the spray barn?
No,
Where were those kept?
they were kept either in an anhydrous barn or in the bottom of the top shop.
Okay. And those would be like extra valves, that kind of thing?
Extra valves, the seals, the gauges, the pop-offs, yes.
Okay. And as far as you know, having worked there, do people do welding in the spray barn?
No,
Okay. Do people do painting in the spray barn?
no,
Any supplies for either of those things in the spray barn?
no.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Nothing further.
Good afternoon, Mr. Hawkins. My name is Marissa Vinsky. I represent Mr. Warner. I have some questions for you. So it seems like you were one of the tank guys. Is that accurate? One of the tank guys, like you primarily dealt with a lot of the tanks.
Yeah, I'm the one that got them ready to go for the year. I'm the one that filled them.
where would the farm get these anhydrous ammonia tanks? So would they buy them used from people? Would they get them directly from the manufacturer, a mix of both?
I cannot answer that because I have never seen them buy one.
Okay, so you kind of just use the tanks that were on the property.
We're big fans of James. He's like, I know
Have you
what
ever
went on.
seen used tanks come onto the property?
Have I ever seen used tanks
Yes.
from other people that I filled?
Okay, so people would bring their
Oh,
tanks that were theirs onto the property. You would fill them. They
And
would
they
take.
would take them out.
interesting.
In your role as the mechanic, you interacted with Miss Warner as well as Mr. Warner, correct?
Correct.
When you were working with Miss Warner, is it accurate to say there were good days with her and bad days with her?
That would be correct.
Miss Warner, it's fair to say, would yell at you during those bad days. She would scream and yell.
Yes.
And when you worked with Mr. Warner in your role, was he pretty easy to get along with?
Yes.
On April 24th, 2021, so that's a Saturday, you worked on the farm until about 7 p.m. Is that
Correct.
accurate? Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I spoke over you. And you had actually spoken to Miss Warner at 6:30 p.m. that night,
Correct.
and everything seemed normal with her.
Correct.
I have no further questions.
That is very, very close to the time that she was never communicated with anyone ever again. Because I think that was 6:47. I'd have to check back in my note, but I'm pretty sure that's really doggone close to that time.
Okay, we do have a couple questions to review.
Oh boy! Yay! Juror questions. Let me get prepared. And then we'll zippity doo dah to the questions. I'm a big fan of Jim here. Okay, walking back.
We have two questions. My understanding that the parties agree on asking both of them. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Hawkins, did you ever notice a fresh weld on tank 34?
No.
Would exposure to anhydrous cause a burn on skin?
Yes. The liquid would.
Oh, could you want to say that once more? I don't think
I said yes, but only the liquid.
Just want to follow up and show you this tank 34. Before you saw this picture, had you ever seen tank 34 before?
No.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
If you know, are there any other chemicals that would cause burns on the skin?
At the farm?
Yes.
No.
I want to know.
I believe he can be released as well. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your time, Ms. Hawkins. You are free to go. You're released from your subpoena, so you don't need to come back if you don't want to, or if you want to stay in the courtroom, you can do that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, look, he pushes his chair in and
All
everything.
right, so it's my understanding
Jim.
that due to our witness availability issue, that was our last witness that we have for today. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
That's my understanding.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we will conclude for today. Monday, we are off so that we can address some other cases that continue to go on while we're doing this.
Oh,
So we won't be
No
here on
live
Monday.
stream
We will
Monday
be
night.
back on Tuesday at 9 a.m. And during the trial, do not read, listen to, or watch any news reports about this case.
well, I wish I'd have known that. We would have skipped the Saturday morning and we'd have done this on Monday night. Well, shoot, everybody. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't know because I didn't watch it. So, but here we are. So we will not have a live stream Monday night for the Dale Warner trial. So we'll have a little Monday night off. I'm trying to see my StreamYard does not get me caught up properly here. So I did star a question or a comment, and I want to come back to it. The real Emily Ross said, unless he did a perfect cut with a torch at the seam and made a perfect weld and paint to match, he would have to line it up perfectly. One of the things that has crossed my mind in seeing him crawling all over this property is the level of work that he had to put in to disposing of her. And he did it quickly because I'd have to go back and check in my notes. I feel like it would have been with one of the detectives. Let me see if I can scoot here and see in my notes. When they were there with the drones, because I'm checking my notes here to see when that happened, because I want to know how soon after that took place. Well, okay. I'm looking here. That was the nanny. That was the OnStar guy. Cell phone guy. Now I'm looking for a detective of some kind that can tell me when they were there, unless you all know in the chat. I'm still looking to see. That's the accountant, the massage therapist, Raquel's boyfriend, body cam. All right. So on 4/29, Dale, they were there with a search warrant, and Dale asked them to leave the spray barn. He said since he was spraying chemicals off the floor in the spray barn. So that was on 4/29. I want to say that is maybe when the drone, or shortly thereafter, the drone coverage. Because I feel like he did not waste any time in getting her in that anhydrous tank. I think it was quick, really quick. I look highly on our farmers now. It's questionable. Well, don't judge everything by this particular farm. I'll say that. I didn't know that you did Requiem. I don't think anybody said that you hated James. I didn't get that at all. He was doing exactly what he was asked to do. I do think they probably, I shouldn't say they, I think that Dale was likely the one to cut corners. Yeah. Can you imagine Dee giving Jimbo an earful? He'd probably be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I don't think that too much riles him in the grand scheme of things. I don't have your questions that I can put on the screen, so I have to go check my other feed here. So circles back to Ivan saying calculated. I do think that Dale is very, very calculated in what he does. I don't think saying all these things about him not losing his temper means a hill of squat. And yes, I think that he was probably crapping his pants when they were there and wanted to go in that spray barn. And who knows what condition it was in when they went in there. And yes, I think that Dee thought Jim was her bestie also. So I'm just thinking that's like picture this in your head, because this is what was starting to form in my mind as I was listening to this testimony. The end, the cap of that tank, how did he prop that puppy up there and hold it so he could weld it back together? Let me know in the chat. One, if you think he could do it on his own, and two, if you think it took two people. Because I'm having a really hard time believing that could be done on your own. And so, again, I'm coming back to why I believe Jaron ended up having charges. They probably dropped them. I imagine they dropped them, maybe not because they didn't think that he was an accessory after the fact. That's the phrase I was looking for earlier. Not because he wasn't an accessory after the fact, but because they couldn't prove that he was an accessory after the fact and tampered with the evidence. It can be won with equipment. I think so too, the real Emily Ross, but I still think it would be really difficult to do that on your own. And I don't know, maybe Dale is a much larger pillar of intellect than I give him credit for. I don't see that happening. So I think that there's evidence to support he needed assistance with getting that welded back shut. Do I think he could do the rest of it on his own? Absolutely. But I think getting that cap welded back on the end might not have been so easy to do. So we're getting a little bit of a judicial cleanse with this particular trial after going through the shenanigans and the mess of Georgia versus Edric Faust. So I'm happy to have a judge that has control of the courtroom. I'm happy that the judge is fair in his rulings. This is all like restoring my faith in our judicial system. So we will not have a live stream Monday night. Everybody take the night off because there's no court in Michigan versus Dale Warner on Monday. We'll be back at it. They will start at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. I will schedule the live stream for all of us for Tuesday evening so we can pick right back up where we left off. In the meantime, I will send out on the Twix and also on the YouTube channel my post tomorrow that tells you everything that's coming up in the coming weeks as far as dockets and things that I'm following, watching, and paying attention to. And unless something pops off on Monday, now I think there are a lot of cases that have things going on Monday. I think there are like 3 cases that, I mean, Corey Richens starts on Monday, And I can't remember, there are like 2 other cases that have hearings on Monday as well. Maybe I'll end up doing a live stream on what might be happening with all of that. But as it stands right now, we will have Monday off. And with that, I want to thank you all for hanging out with me this fine Saturday morning. It looks like the sunshine is trying to peek out here. I hope you get an opportunity to enjoy the rest of your weekend. And thank you to my mod, Kelly, for keeping the fort down again. If you're on replay crew, thank you so much. And you know, it doesn't cost a penny to be kind. So find someone to do something nice for. If you haven't already, there's plenty of day left, so you can find someone to do something nice for. And remember, as always, to